Welcome to the Brian Craig Show. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all. You know, the president and his entire strategy with Iran is so brilliant and unlike any other military conflict this country has ever been in. And it's something that should be studied and respected and honored. And the media and the left should be praising President Trump for what he's doing with Iran. And I'm going to talk about that and a whole bunch more on the program today and take your calls. There's, the media, they never cease to amaze me how low life they're willing to go. And they go very low all the time. They never go high. They never go medium. They always go low. President Trump's pretty fed up with Iran, isn't he? I mean, he's pretty fed up. They keep poking the bear. They're lunatics. He said yesterday, this is the third level, because they've killed so many of their officials, and they're as crazy as the first two. And the media are upset that things aren't over. Well, while the war's been going on for 47, almost 48 years, this operation's been going on for, 4 months, and almost all of that time has been during ceasefire periods. There was some heavy fighting in the beginning with the bombing campaign. There's been some the last few nights here and there. But for the most part, these last few months, everything's been a ceasefire. But what President Trump is doing is, he is fighting and winning a war. Now think about this. He is fighting and winning a war without any boots on the ground. What do the Democrats, what do the media want him to do? Have a mass ground invasion where thousands of Americans are wounded and killed? What he is doing is such a low-risk operation. The amount of U.S. casualties is so low in this war. And this brilliant war strategy, you just got to be patient. What, you think things would be sped up if we invaded? We invaded Iraq and Afghanistan. How many years did that go on? Exactly. The ground forces, it doesn't end things any faster. It prolongs them, and there's loss of life. And any of you give to, my wife and I, we give to Wounded Warriors and Tunnels to Towers every month. We have like a monthly thing we've been doing with them both for years and years and years, and I hope you guys do too, because they're good, great causes, great American groups. And you see those commercials during the breaks on the news, and you see these guys, they're going to their mortgage-free home, they're in a wheelchair, they have no legs, parts of their bodies are missing, and everything else. Sometimes parts of their bodies are just disfigured or look like they've been melted, or sometimes it's a soldier's widow with the kids, and dad was killed in the war. And that's what you want? You want more wounded warriors or dead warriors? I don't think so. And the way President Trump is fighting this war is brilliant. You go back and look at military campaigns of the past, and I reflected them a lot because, I study history. I'm a student of history. I have a degree in history. I read history all the time. And If President Trump was president, do you think he would have found a way other than storming the beaches of Normandy? Any of you guys ever see Saving Private Ryan? Everyone has. I got an uncle. He was at Normandy a couple days after the main invasion, and he's long since passed, but he was telling me that when he got there, every hill he would go over, as far as he could see, there would be dead bodies, as far as he could see, just over the hills, over and over and over again. And is that what you want here in Iran? Should he not be given credit for ending a war, fighting a war, defeating a country without a land invasion? Didn't we learn anything from Iraq and Afghanistan? These land operations don't work. They don't work. They prolong the wars, and they cause a lot of death, a lot of guys getting wounded. And you can tell by listening to the media and listening to the Democrats, you can tell which side they're rooting for. They're rooting for Iran. They're basically, the White House press corps are basically the propaganda ministry of Iran. They always ask questions and present things as if Iran is winning. Iran is not winning. And the people in the government that keep poking the bear that are now running Iran, do you know why they're alive and running Iran today? Why do you think? The current leaders of Iran, why are they running Iran right now? You know why? Because President Trump allows them to. He could kill them all if he wanted. He could. And I'm just checking the time when we're going to be live. Okay, we got about 2 minutes until the radio show starts, so hang in there. If you'd like to call in, please do. I've got a lot to cover today, a lot, and I'm going to go through a lot of stories today because there's been a lot of developments. But, of course, you're always welcome to call in. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. And the number is pinned in the live chat. All right, let me just make sure everything's done. Okay, and we have, okay, we're good to go. And, okay, about 90 seconds and we'll be live. All right. And if he did do a land invasion, they would tell you that was wrong too. Because these Trump derangement syndrome suffering lunatics in the White House press corps, Trump can do no right by them. They're going to, he cleans up, think about it. He stops murders in Washington, D.C., and they attack him for it. And they actually say, how dare you? Who do you think you are stopping these murders in Washington, D.C.? Who do you think you are, Donald? Think about that. So when they come out against a guy who's stopping violent crime and murders and the city in which this press corps work in, how do you expect them to give any positive comments on anything he does, right? That's how the media operate. We'll be live on the radio in less than a minute. It's just a pre-show now on YouTube only. So if you're on hold, hang in there. The number to call is toll-free. It's pinned in the live chat. I'm going to open up the radio show, bring up a few things before I go to the phones, but you're welcome to call in. The number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We got about 30 seconds. Let me check something here. Hold on, let's see, make sure I got the right clips. Those of you on hold, hang in there. All right, hold on. Hold on. Okay, here it is. All right. I wanted to cue up the right clip. 10 seconds. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. All right, callers on hold, stand by. We've got a lot to cover. I was talking in the pre-show, and I'll just recap this, then I'll take some calls. President Trump's strategy with Iran is quite possibly the most brilliant military strategy the United States has ever waged in any war that we've been in. And I guess it's a matter of perspective, but we are fighting a country and bringing down a nation without any troops on the ground, with just an air campaign. And the media hate Trump for it. What do you guys want him to do? Have a mass ground invasion? How did that go in Iraq? How well did that do in Afghanistan? How many Americans were killed and wounded in Iraq and Afghanistan and any other war where we've had a land invasion, a real war? A lot, right? Is that what you want in Iran? And so what if it takes a little longer than you want it to be? I know you guys have this tick-tock attention span of about 3 seconds. But in case you didn't notice, The war in Afghanistan went on for 20 years. 20 years. And then we gave it back to the people that knocked down the buildings at the end of it. Good job, Biden. What an idiotic thing. You know, you've got a major combat operation going on for the last few months. Most of that time has been a ceasefire. The loss of American life, while all loss of life is tragic, has been very minimal when you consider the extent of the combat operation. And just be patient. President Trump has everything under control. Now, I'm going to take a call or two before I get, because I got some things to cover and some things I'm pretty ticked off about. But I want to keep the discussion focused on Iran here early on. So if you're on hold, hang in there. The number is 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you are listening. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. This is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
Now, I'm not gonna gloat, but I said this to you, and you stood there with holding up the art of the deal, and I said you can't make a deal with these people. They're not a labor union.
Yeah, I got the book. I got the book right here. I keep it beside me in the studio. The Art of the Deal. Yeah, it's a great book.
Yeah, well, I hope you realize that I believe that Israel in the long run is right about this, and you said that no war has ever been won, and he's fighting a war that he's going to win from the air. The only war that was won from the air was when Harry Truman dropped the nuclear bomb on Japan, because they were not going to give up. And I understand that that President Trump shouldn't drop no nuke on Iran, but the state of Israel told them you're dealing with crazy people.
Yes.
And the only way you're gonna win this thing is have a regime change where they become friends of ours, not keep this crazy regime in position of authority. Let me tell you, I watched that funeral that's going on in Iraq. That's like the traveling circus. You're dealing with people that are throwing caskets around, going hysterical.
Yeah. You mean Iran?
This is not like right. We are not dealing with people from the West, and I think deep down President Trump realized this, and I think that he tried his best to give them.
Well,
the
yesterday
doubt.
at the press conference in Turkey, one of the reporters got up and said, "Oh, you praised the Iranian leaders, and what changed?" And he said, and he had a great answer. He said, "I got to know them. I got to know them." So obviously, he has changed his view so far as a deal. All right, and he's going to obliterate him.
I hope he does. I've been talking about that a long time. He's got. Believe me when I say this, and I'm not. And you said that. Well, that's because it has to do. It has to do with the fact that Israel, that's sitting out there, has dealt with these crazy people for the last 40. Well, how many years? 75 years.
Yeah.
They know that they're trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
The paper that they write a deal on is like toilet paper, because they don't have any. Their religion tells them they can lie to us.
This is the deal, okay? We're Western civilization, you liberals out there in America, okay, the United States. The Islamic world and Western civilization are not compatible civilizations. We're just not compatible. Our look on everything in the world is completely different. But with that being said, we get along well with Syria now, and Iraq, and Libya, and Saudi, or all these other countries. But you have these religious fanatics in Iran, and they're just not going to give up. They have to be vaporized. That's it.
No, you can't. I don't think that we could bomb them enough to have them give up, because there's always going to be, like in the United States, you can't prevent terrorism, but you can change that regime by
what?
The civilian population. It might take time. Arm the civilian population and weaken the regime to the point where they really in bad shape. Right now, the civilians, they don't have weapons, so they're depending on us, and I don't think you can win an air war totally with these people. You're going to have to regime change this place, and I believe he knows it now.
But President Trump's policy is not regime change. It hasn't been from the beginning.
I think they might have changed. I think it changed yesterday.
Maybe.
If you listen to what he said.
Very well may have.
He mentioned yesterday. Yeah, I think he changed his mind yesterday. I think he says, I'm going to have to finish this to the complete end.
But then he said on Air Force One on the way back from the UK, he says they've been calling, they want to get the deal going back again, right? I mean, give me a break.
Yeah.
What they really should have done was blow up that funeral. They should have dropped a hydrogen bomb on that funeral.
100%.
That would have gotten rid of a lot of the leaders.
It would have, because right now, I mean, not for nothing, I want to bring this up. If anyone saw them throwing a casket around, hysterical.
Yeah.
I mean, I never seen anything like that. Have you ever seen a funeral like this?
Yes. Arafat, when Arafat's funeral happened, it was real. I thought Arafat was going to fall out of the casket. They were tossing it around, and remember that? They put it on a helicopter. They almost brought down the helicopter that had the casket on it because they were grabbing onto it.
Is this normal? For you and I to think like this, is this any way to pay respects to the dead? These people are such fanatics. I've never seen anything like this in my life. You talk about a cult, a death cult. Yes. I mean, we're dealing, and I hope the American people back this thing right now that President Trump is doing. I don't want to hear these people calling about we're killing children anymore. That's the next thing they're going to start pulling on us.
No,
he's bombing them and killing children.
They tried to give some weapons to some of the people over there, and then they ended up in the wrong people's hands. They've tried it twice in Iran.
Yeah. I think, I know the Kurds, but I really think that that's going to be the only way to solve this, because you're going to need inside takeovers. They're having
listen, I got to run, Richie, but you make some sense. I agree with some of what you've said. All right, let's see here. Let's go. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Oh, hold on, Doc. I answer all these calls that are coming in. Yeah, go ahead, Doc. What's up?
Hey, man, how are you this morning?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I just want to call and tell you, this mess what's going on in Iran right now, it's just getting crazier and crazier. Honestly, I don't even know what to even think about it anymore. I thought they were on path for a peace deal, and now Iran is shooting, we shooting. I just don't know no more.
Well, as a liberal, you never know. If you knew, you would be a
What,
conservative.
Brian? You know what, Brian? Why criticize me? Why can't you? You know what? I'm calling. I'm not trying.
I'm gonna respond. You have fanatical people that have been killing Americans for almost 50 years, and if you notice, they got a couple of lucky shots off in the very beginning of the campaign with those first rocket launches, but they haven't been killing Americans during this.
But the problem is, Brian, we should have never been there. Every president knew not to do it.
They've been killing Americans for 50 years. You think we should allow that to continue?
Brian.
They tried twice to assassinate President Trump.
Went into Iran because his buddy Bibi Netanyahu.
No, the reason that he's in Iran. Hold on a second.
You know, I'm not going to argue with you this morning. I'm not in the mood to argue with you.
Well, all right. Well, then goodbye. If you don't want to hear me talk, then don't call. The main reason, and the elephant in the room here, all right? The main reason President Trump's in Iran is because Iran has spent years trying to assassinate him. And he doesn't want to spend the rest of his life, or his family to have to spend the rest of their life, fearful of an assassination from Iran. They've been trying to assassinate him since he took out Soleimani in his first term. And if that's not grounds to do what he's doing, in your mind, what kind of American are you? All right, now if you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our first break of this. Can you believe it's Thursday morning already? My name is Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. And I want to take a moment, though, before we break, to talk about Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. Oh, man. If you missed the tax filing deadline, call Jamie Levac. Don't worry. And remember, Jamie Levac can help you with your taxes no matter where you are in the United States. If you missed the tax deadline in April, don't worry. Call Jamie Levac. He's got a direct line to the IRS, and he'll take care of it for you. If there are past years, no matter how many years in the past you've missed, call Jamie LeeZep, okay? Stop living in fear. He'll take care of it for you. If you owe back taxes, right, even if you have an arrangement with the IRS to pay those back, call Jamie LeeZep. You know, one of our listeners, he owed back taxes, right? And Jamie LeeZep looked over his taxes and found out that not only did he not owe taxes to the IRS owed him money. And you know what? He got the money. So if you owe money to the IRS and you're paying on it, or maybe you haven't paid on it and you always are worrying about those certified letters, call Jamie LeeZep at Swift Tax. He can help you. 954-773-1587. If you're a business owner, also give Jamie LeeZep a call. He can help you with your business taxes, your bookkeeping, and everything else. And those of you out there that are part of the gig economy, like Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, people that, you know, like that Door Dashers, you know, you need to call Jamie LeeZep because you are getting yourself, if you're not doing things right, you're getting yourself in a position where you're going to end up owing a lot of money to the government. But call Jamie LeeZep at Swift Tax, and he can get you set up so that you're not in that situation. And if you're a business owner of any size, Jamie LeeZep can help you with your business taxes as well. Give him a call. This number rings directly to Jamie LeeZep, so you can call or text 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587 for Jamie LeeZep at Swift Tax. We'll be right back. All right, now if you're on hold, guys, stand by, okay? We'll take a quick break and be back with your calls and more.
One mother's fight over adoption fraud and child trafficking has inspired a powerful new book series calling for greater government accountability. The Colorado Government Book Series from author Lindsay Schaefer. It's a deeply personal collection based on her own experiences and years of legal and personal battles. From The Missing, which covers where her daughter was kidnapped and child human trafficked out of the state of Colorado. Imperium Conflictus, which features a 14-year disability case and spousal support case, and Warranty of Habitability, where Lindsay describes the unlivable conditions she found helping the poor, with 10 shelters in Denver, Colorado having mold and asbestos. Author Lindsay Schaefer shares her perspective on child custody, disability benefits, homelessness, and the challenges she faced while seeking justice. If you're searching for a thought-provoking book series that raises the difficult questions and encourages readers to think for themselves, order the Colorado Government Book Series from author Lindsay Schaefer online at payhip.com/Lindsay777. That's payhip.com/777. Are you looking for jewelry that's as unique as you are? Then check out Kita Luxury on Etsy, where every piece is handcrafted with passion, artistry, and the natural beauty of genuine crystals and gemstones, inspired by a love for one-of-a-kind bohemian designs. Kita Luxury was created with a simple mission to make extraordinary handmade jewelry accessible to everyone. Behind every creation is a talented team of skilled artisans, each bringing their custom expertise to metalwork, stone cutting, beading, and fine jewelry craftsmanship to produce stunning wearable works of art. Whether you're searching for a breathtaking statement necklace, elegant earrings, handcrafted bracelets, beautiful rings, or meaningful jewelry for both men and women, you'll discover pieces that celebrate your individuality and personal style. Every design is carefully handcrafted using high-quality, natural materials, creating jewelry that's more than an accessory. It's a reflection of who you are. Whether you're shopping for yourself or searching for the perfect gift, Kita Luxury offers timeless handcrafted jewelry designed to inspire, delight, and be treated for years to come. These healing crystals are some of the best healing jewelry on Etsy. Visit KetaLuxury.etsy.com. That's KEETA luxury.etsy.com. KetaLuxury.etsy.com. Handcrafted jewelry that tells your story. KetaLuxury.etsy.com.
Okay, we got about a minute till we return. We're still in radio break. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. It's toll-free no matter where you're listening. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We have less than a minute. We'll be back. I'll take more of your calls, and then I'll get into some more of the news of the day because there's a lot of big stories to cover. But I mean, don't you agree that President Trump deserves amazing credit for waging a major war? There's been no Islamic terrorism around the world from Iran since this began, which shows their capabilities have been dramatically eroded without any boots on the ground, without getting Americans killed on the ground. I think he deserves praise and medals and congratulations for that. Don't you? All right, 20 seconds. Stand by. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. Danielle calling from Michigan.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say in regards to Iran, 100% I stand behind the president and everything that's happening, and I just want Richie to know that too, that totally back him 100%, and I think, this is going to take a little bit of time. We're going to have ups and downs, but I think what people need to understand and realize is that our great president is making a change that's going to be good for 50, 60, 70, maybe 100-year change with what he's doing with this regime. I mean, this is the big picture that people, and Brian, I'm about a little bit older than you. People that are younger they're not really grasping and really
Yeah, they don't have the perspective with Iran. Oh, Danielle, we lost your cell, so I don't know if you hit mute or if you disconnected yourself, but the line went dead, Danielle from Michigan. The rest of you on hold, stand by. I want to, by the way, if you'd like to call in, the number is 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. When people talk about, these past wars where people have said, okay, this has been going on too long, we need to get out of there. You're talking about wars where there were mass losses of American life on a regular basis. Iraq, people getting IEDs, Vietnam, that's not happening here. So what is your sacrifice? $10 more a month? $20, $30 more a month on gasoline prices? That's the sacrifice you're whining about? I don't quite get it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Kenneth from Maryland.
Hey, Maryland.
Good morning, Brian. First, I owe you a deep apology and your listening audience for a comment that I made on Monday.
Well, apology accepted.
What I was you remember watching that movie with Roddy Piper and this black guy? And
They
told him
Live.
to put on the glasses.
They Live.
Yeah. That's what we need to see, these liberals classes. Yeah. But this mess that's going on right now goes back to, what was the president? Jimmy Carter.
Correct.
When he got rid of the Shah.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back to 1984, you'll also share an interview, I think it was Barbara Walters, and Trump was talking about Iran back then.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
He is, and I have to say, Richie is right. One of the things about these people, you have to get rid of them. There is no negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump is on the right course. And again, the United States and the people of the world need to thank God for Donald J. Trump.
Well, everything you've said, except the Richie was right part, I agree with 100%. But right before I clicked on your call, I was talking in the past when there's been debates like, okay, this war's been going on too long, we got to get out of there. It was when there was mass loss of American life going on, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. That's not the case here. We've been dealing with Iran for about 50 years. There's been very little loss of life because it's an air campaign. And what are people how much, when gas prices go up, how much is that really affecting you? $30 a month, maybe $10 a month, $6 a week. I don't know, but it's not, that's your sacrifice when you look at all of the people that have been, and on top of the fact that Iran has been trying to assassinate President Trump since his first term after he took out the Iranian General Soleimani. So President Trump and his family are, he can't, look at what they did to him during the Autopin administration. He cannot depend on the government to protect him and his family from Iranian hit squads when he's no longer the president.
Well, this goes even a little deeper. If folks would really, there's a book called The Creature of Jekyll Island.
Mm-hmm.
If you read that book and then read the other one called The Confessions of an Economic Hitman, you'll understand the Brits were behind a lot of this mess and the bankers.
Well, I believe, we celebrated Independence Day, but the British have been, they've never accepted it, and they've been undermining this country even though they surrendered, okay, in the revolution. They got us into the war in Iraq. They got us into the Second World. I mean, how many Americans have died because of the British since we won our independence?
This crap started in 1913, because right after that became World War I, which was 1914. You follow it was the bankers behind all this mess. Trump is a businessman. He knows money.
Yes.
He knows this.
Yes.
He knows this. And if everybody else would just open their eyes and get on board, they'll understand what this kind of mess is what caused Kennedy his life, caused Lincoln his life, because it was the bankers. Which the Brits
listen, and if you remember that Russian dossier about Trump that they impeached him over, and the Mueller, that was from that came from British intelligence too. Christopher Steele came up with from MI6 came up with that garbage.
Well, see, what we're witnessing is the end of all of this, because if you notice, when Trump went over there, him walking in front of the Queen with Charles, that pedophile, coming over here, it's over.
Yes.
We're just watching the cleanup job.
That's right. That's right. Well, listen, I got to run for our bottom of the hour break, but I appreciate the call.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, you take care. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about Tom Laporta with Laporta Roofing. I looked out the window during the last break, and the sun should be out, and it's not. It looks kind of dark, so it looks like we got some rain coming in. If you've got a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof, you want to get that taken care of before there's some strong... we've had some strong winds already. I got a big tree branch on the side of my house over the weekend. The winds were blowing so hard, it broke a massive tree branch off the tree on the side of my house. And I was lucky that I wasn't home, because if I was home, it would have landed on my car. But it was just in the driveway, so because I wasn't home. And I have to cut it up this weekend to put it out for the pickup, but I haven't done it. It's still on the side of the house. When you have a wet spot on your ceiling, not only do you have a leak in your roof, you've got a damaged roof, right? Whether it's a tile, a shingle, whatever the roof is made of. And when you get those winds that are coming from the tropical storm, from the hurricanes, they get under that damaged roof, and boom, that's it. The roof's gone. You want to take care of it. Give Tom Laporta a call. He covers both the east and west coast of Florida, everywhere in between. He can handle a job of any size, whether it's one home, one office building, one municipal building, or an HOA with over 450 units. Tom Laporta can handle it. This number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone. You can call or text. Imagine, before, during, and even after the work is done, you have the cell phone number of the owner of the company. Isn't that something? Listen, here it is, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. Now, when you go to LaportaRoofing.com, what you'll find there is the office number, and you're welcome to call the office number. But if you want to get Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Roofing, directly, call or text him on his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. We'll be right back.
What does it really mean to be the richest person in history? Find out in The Valuation King, how Musk used equity and exits to become the most powerful founder alive. Available on Amazon. This must-read book compares two legendary empire builders separated by more than 600 years. Mansa Musa, the ruler whose legendary wealth transformed economies, and Elon Musk, the modern entrepreneur who redefined how fortunes are built in the 21st century. The Valuation King uses real financial records, SEC filings, court documents, as well as in-depth research, uncovering the powerful strategies behind today's biggest fortunes. When you read The Valuation King, you'll learn how equity can become greater than cash and explore the financial playbook that has changed business forever. Whether you're an investor, entrepreneur, business owner, or simply fascinated by wealth and innovation, The Valuation King offers an eye-opening look at one of the most remarkable financial stories ever told. Order your copy of The Valuation King, how Musk used equity and exits to become the most powerful founder alive on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. If there's a new baby in your family, or you know someone who's expecting, you'll love what you will find at Lavello Baby. From thoughtful baby essentials to everyday parenting helpers, Lavello Baby offers products that make life just a little easier for busy moms, dads, and growing families. Lavello Baby's portable baby bottle warmer is a customer favorite. It's rechargeable, perfect for travel, and makes nighttime feeding so much easier. And right now, you can save on their newest baby products. Whether you're shopping for your own little one or looking for that perfect baby shower gift, visit lavellobaby.com right now. That's Luvello, lavellobaby.com, helping make every day with baby a little easier. lavellobaby.com.
All right, we have just over a minute, and we'll be back, guys, so hang in there. Yeah, just over a minute, we'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. The number is pinned in the live chat. It's toll-free. And Chuck, I made a video where I talked about you on Patreon. I didn't know if I should bring that up in the main chat or not. So if you go and check that out, you can let me know, because I don't know if you want everybody to know that or not. But I did tell the Patreon community. So check out that live stream I did at about 4:45 a.m. on Patreon, because I just saw Chuck pop in the chat room. But I didn't know if you wanted me to bring that up or not, but you shared it on Patreon in the live chat, so. All right, 30 seconds. So I told you guys, if you're on Patreon, if you're a Patreon supporter, you get all kinds of stuff going on there. Stand by. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. If you're on hold, stand by. There was another happy... And but before I get into this, I just want to say something about one of our longtime listeners. We have a longtime listener who's listened to this program for more years than I can tell you, and he's been such a long-time listener. His name's Chuck, and he may have called in once or twice over the years, but you don't hear him call in. And if you're on my YouTube channel, you'll see him in the live chat all the time. But he's been a listener for so long that I consider him a friend. And sadly, his mother passed away, and today is her funeral. And I just want to say to Chuck and his family out there, your prayers. You're in our prayers, and I know people in the audience that they'll have you and your family in your prayers too. I tell you, it's one of those sad parts of life when you lose parents. I'm blessed that I haven't lost any of my parents yet. I had a stepfather who passed away about 10 years ago, but my mother and father are still with us. But it's a tough thing I see people go through, and and one thing I've learned when I grow older, no matter how, when you're young, you think, oh, well, they passed away and they're all, old age ain't what it used to be, right? They're always too young when they go, and they're always missed. So I just want to, Chuck out there in our listening audience, You're in my prayers, and I know many people in this audience have you and your family in theirs. And the services for his mother are today, and I wish I could be there, but it's in another part of the state of Florida where I can't be. But God bless you and your family. All right. The media did something yesterday that was so over the line and disgusting, it made me physically ill. I was watching the press conference that the president had in Turkey, and did you guys see this press conference? Yeah, and the sick, disgusting, low-life, Trump derangement syndrome suffering press corps made a big deal and pointed out classified information that we should not even have known about. And not only did they bring it up, they repeatedly went to it. And I saw Caitlin Collins on CNN, even did a story on CNN on this story. When President Trump left Turkey yesterday, because of Iran, he didn't take the new Air Force One. And boy, oh boy, they couldn't miss an opportunity to tell you about it, could they? Why aren't you taking the new Air Force One? And you know, and all of this. And Trump responded, tried to pivot, and then another reporter comes in, yeah, but why aren't you taking the Qatar new Air Force One? And President Trump said, he says, I'm Iran's number one target. They have a hit list, and I'm number one on it. And so what they did is they flew the new Air Force One ahead of the president without him to England, to the UK, to a U.S. Air Force base over there. And then he flew on the old Air Force One to England. And then they landed in England and they switched onto the new Air Force One. And President Trump, he landed in Washington at 1:30 a.m. on the new Air Force One. So why did the press do that? Well, I think it's obvious. They're planting ideas into the mind of the Iranians. And and one of the things they planted is that there's something security-wise that makes the new Air Force One unsafe. What that is, I don't know. But I can only imagine what the Iranians are thinking. We have rockets that it can't take out? It doesn't have countermeasures? It can't avoid our weapons? Like the old Air Force One? They're putting a target on it. That is highly classified national security information, and they blurted it out multiple times throughout the day yesterday, just in case Iran missed it the first 12 times. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, first of all, prayers for Brother Chuck and his family on losing his mom,
Yes.
It's never easy, and he's a great guy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I just wanted to speak real quick about, I know you're not having on the topic, but you spoke about it earlier, was Brian Plattner.
Yeah, feel free. You're in Maine. I'm going to get to that later, but you're welcome to bring it up now.
Well, I listened to that horrible little speech he gave, and it was all about him. It wasn't about what's good for the state of Maine or the Democrat Party. It was all about him.
Yeah.
And it was so disgusting. I mean, it was absolutely no reason to what he was saying. All about me, poor woe is me. They did this to me at the last minute, but they knew all about that stuff before, and they still ran him.
Yep.
So that's on them.
Well, let me tell you this. If someone accused me of raping them, and then all of a sudden, they're on CNN with a senior CNN anchor making this allegation, Politico's talking about text messages and DMs and all this stuff, and all this stuff, I wouldn't cower. And it wasn't true. You wouldn't see me doing what Plattner did. I would be on CNN challenging that person to confront me to my face, because I know it's not true. I watched I want to play a clip of his concession in just a bit. What a little wimpy metrosexual girl he is. They got this whole Marlboro man with this fight the oligarchy. I can't even do the voice. That fake voice he does. He's really a little girl on the inside. Oh, we lost Jeff. But nothing. Wild horses. could not keep me from saying, I did not do this. I did not rape that woman. And I challenge her to confront me and say it to my face. You know what? On Jake Tapper's show on CNN. But that's not what Graham Plattner did. I'll get to that in a bit. I'm sorry, I lost Jeff's phone, disconnected. My apologies. But we'll get to that in a bit. But I want to play this clip of President Trump. So the treasonous media put a target on the new Air Force One. And you know, the new Air Force One, why they didn't take it from Turkey to the UK, it could be a number of reasons, right? This was really its inaugural international flight. You know, maybe they had to do an adjustment on the brakes for all I know. I don't know. But the press assumed that Iran could take it down. Now, why would they put that idea in the mind of Iranian terrorists that the new Air Force One was not safe for him to fly? They're sick, and their Trump derangement syndrome of the treasonous fake news media is so deep in their brain, they didn't even think for a second, we fly on that plane. Well, listen to this. This is President Trump on Air Force One on the way back from the UK to Washington, and a reporter brought up something that happened. Listen.
Probably on a dangerous flight because of the sleazebags that we have to deal with.
So you think that Iran was possibly thinking of trying
Well, I mean, if they asked you to close your windows, probably they feel that way. They didn't ask me to close mine, but if they did, I would have done it. You know, these are sick people, so I could see something like that. I didn't know they did that, but I could see something like that.
Were you aware of any credible threat by Iran against Air Force
Well, I have
One?
a threat all the time. I'm number one on their list before you. But if I go, you go. Right?
But was there a
So
specific threat today?
perhaps someday you want to change professions. What do you have, Daniel?
Okay, so this was an interesting exchange that happened there on Air Force One. That was during that press conference he did on Air Force One, and I think that's the new Air Force One, isn't it? He goes back and does his press conference with the sleazeball press. And one of them and this is what this clip was about. They said, they came on and told us to put our shades down because you don't want the lights out for targeting. And he says, they didn't tell me to do that, but there must be something. I think that the pilot, the captain of Air Force One, was probably pissed off at the press for putting a target on Air Force One like they did all day yesterday. They're even doing it now during this. And I think the captain told them to put their shades down just to scare them, like thinking that they might be targeted. I really do. I have never seen this happen. And, I'll tell you, while he did fly on the old Air Force One, it is very unusual for the president not to fly on Air Force One. In fact, when has that happened? Do you know of a time when the sitting president of the United States did not fly on Air Force One? Air Force One's a combat aircraft with countermeasures and all kinds of things going on. Plus, there's a fighter escort around it in a situation like this, too. Major air wing they had around it. But I've never known the press to do something like that before. Ever. No. They put the president of the United States and themselves, because they got Trump derangement syndrome, at risk. And it wasn't just yesterday. The Iranians are thinking about this new Air Force One all the time now because they planted it there. Dummies. Treason. What are your thoughts on the press and what they did? Was that treason? I think it was treason. I really do. They're so disgusting. They're just disgusting. I want to talk about Brighton Dental, Dr. Gupta. Dr. Gupta, who's, by the way, a longtime listener of the Steve Kane Show. He's been listening to the Steve Kane Show so long that when he started listening, I was not even a part of the Steve Kane Show. That's how far he goes back. And he's been a sponsor of the Steve Kane Show for many, many years. And Dr. Gupta over at Brighton Dental does amazing work. He's a top dentist with a top dental education. His work is phenomenal. Don't worry about the pain. He does incredible work. Whatever type of dental work you need, he can do it. And he's an old-fashioned dentist, right? He cares about his patients. And the other thing I talk about with Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental is that not only is he an old-fashioned dentist with an old-fashioned practice, he has old-fashioned prices. His prices are from another time. They really are. And he's not one of those dentists you go to. These dentists here in South Florida, they think everybody lives on South Beach in some multi-million-dollar high-rise. They charge you through the nose. Beverly Hills prices, South Beach pricing, not Dr. Gupta. His prices are as old-fashioned as the style of practice he has. And that's amazing. Very affordable. And I tell Steve all the time, when people are talking on the radio doing commercials for dentists, they always talk about painless dentistry and, and all this stuff. Well, there's always medications for that. We get it, and that's, But I think the pain that people are more afraid of than the pain from the actual dental work is the pain of the price. You're not going to have that price pain with Dr. Gupta over at Brighton Dental, okay? Give him a call. He does amazing work. He's a great guy. 954-922-4633. He's been with the Steve Kane Show for more years than I can remember. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. For Dr. Gupta over at Brighton Dental. Okay, we're going to take our last break of the first hour and be right back.
Love Sudoku? Then get ready for a whole new challenge with Sudoku's Revenge. With Sudoku's Revenge, play classic Sudoku your way, compete against other players, and climb the leaderboards in this exciting new app and tournament website. And the best part, Sudoku's Revenge is completely free to play. Earn gems as you play, then redeem them for fun prizes. Tournaments are launching as more players come online. And right now, there are always 2 tournaments available, with even more ready to unlock as the community grows. Become one of the first members of this growing community of puzzle fans. And go right now to sudokusrevenge.com. That's sudokusrevenge.com, where every puzzle is a chance for revenge. sudokusrevenge.com. What if the greatest threat to a kingdom wasn't an invading army, but the loss of memory itself? From author Fakhri Bey comes the new epic fantasy, The Vayrith Cycle, the crown that forgot its king, available on Amazon. In a kingdom where every crown holds power and every name shapes reality, a royal tax collector arrives in a quiet village where everyone knows they have a king, but no one can remember his name. As memories disappear, ancient forces awaken, and a mysterious creature begins consuming not people, but crowns themselves. One disgraced nobleman must uncover a secret buried for centuries before the very idea of kingship vanishes forever. If you enjoy rich world building, political intrigue, dark mythology, morally complex heroes, and sweeping fantasy adventures, The Vayrith Cycle is your next must-read book. Order your copy right now on Amazon, in Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. The Vayrith Cycle, the crown that forgot its king, from author Fakhri Bey on Amazon.
All right, we're still in radio break, so stand by. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number is toll free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Calls on hold, stand by. When we get back from the break, I'm going to get into Graham Plattner a little bit. What a pathetic little man. I'm going to play this on the radio, but I'll play it for you guys first. This is Graham Plattner, a little clip from his concession.
We believe that for the movement to continue.
See, hear this? This guy's ego, it wasn't that long ago he was just a bum living off mommy. Now his ego, he refers to himself as we.
We believe that for the movement to...
See? We. That is an ego, talking about himself using the royal we. That's an ego that is out of freaking control right there, man. We got just over a minute till we're back, and then I'm going to get into that. I mean, who do you refer to yourself as we? No. You, me, I. When someone uses the royal we, that's a narcissist times infinity. A few months ago, he was just some bum living off mommy. Okay, we got about 40 seconds and we'll be back. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'll play this whole clip. I'm not going to play his whole concession, just a clip of it. I couldn't listen to that whole thing. Are you kidding me? Okay. $20 seconds. We'll be back. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm going to talk a little about Graham Plattner, play this clip of his dropping out announcement. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. All right, so Graham Plattner, what a jerk this is. You know, I'm going to play a clip in a moment of his dropping out of the race, and which is really a dangerous precedent that the Democrats have done. Now the second time they've done it, but this guy, he's accused of rape, of violent rape. Oh, it's not true, but I'm dropping out. Let me tell you, someone does something like that, you wild horses would not be able to stop me from going on CNN, demanding they're in studio with me and confront them about it. I would never let someone do that. You know, over the years, you know, because of my profession, I've had run-ins with people. I've referenced one a few times over the years, and I haven't told the whole story, but I'm going to now because the main person is dead. So since they passed away, I don't have to worry about injecting them into my life. But you guys remember George from the Neil Rogers Show? George from the Neil Rogers Show. He was Neil Rogers' producer, and he would fill in for Neil when Neil was on vacation. And he's passed away. And George always hated me because I was friends with Neil Rogers, and you know, and he was always afraid I was going to be hired by Neil and take his job. And the last thing I wanted to do was go work for Neil Rogers, because you know what that, those of you that know Neil know exactly what I mean by that. But he was on the air, and he said something about me, and I put out a challenge to him. He said on the air that he knows 5 men that I had sex with. He said this on the air, George. Now, some of you that are longtime listeners have heard me reference this story, but I've never mentioned George before because I didn't want to inject him into my life. But since he's passed away, you know, he can't inject himself. I don't know. Maybe if some thunder comes, we'll find out. But he was on the air, and he said that he knows 5 men that I've had sex with. And what I did is I went on the air the next morning, okay? And believe me, I was hearing from people right away because it was on the radio and people were calling me. I got a call on the air about it as soon as the show started. First call, I wasn't going to address it. And the first call I took that morning was a call saying, "Hey, George," a guy that hated me. George says that he knows 5 guys you've had sex with. So you know what I did? I challenged George. I challenged him on the air, and live. I said, "George," I said, "you get those 5 guys, and I'll be in studio with you and them tomorrow. Your studio or my studio. You bring those 5 guys you're talking about. You can bring them on your show with Neil in that studio. I'll drive over there, or you can come to our studio and we'll do it here. Pick your studio. I'll be live in studio with you." And I never heard from him again. Never said it again. So, because it didn't happen. And it's not true. And, you know, and it's just something he made up because he was always mad at me, George, for some reason, you know. And a lot of it was mainly because he was afraid I would take his job. And, you know, that's what happens. I had, this person is still with us. So, I had somebody else right after I got married on the radio make a did something disgusting that involved my wife right after I got married 30 years ago on the air. I'm not going to tell you what it was or who it was, because unlike George, they're still above the ground. And I did the same thing. I confronted them, as did my wife, the next day live on the air, okay? Because when people make wild accusations against you to try to harm you, and they're not true, okay, you confront them. You confront them. If there was somebody out there on CNN and giving interviews with Jake Tapper and Politico and all this stuff, saying that I raped them, and I would be there, I would demand, I would be all over the place demanding that CNN have me on the air live with Jake Tapper and this slanderer. And we're going to set the record straight, because it didn't happen, and you know it didn't happen. And I could do that. You know why I could do that? Because it would never have happened. But Graham Plattner, that's not what he did. Now, after the top of the hour, I'm going to play this clip of Graham Plattner, because I've got time to play it now, but I don't want to just play it. I want to talk about it. This guy is unbelievable. So after the top of the hour, I picked one clip out of his 11 minutes of whining like a little girl, and I'm going to share it with you when we get back from the top of the hour break. But somebody goes out there and they try to do to me, and when George did that to me, he was filling in for Neil Rogers. That was the #1 radio show in the Miami market at the time. You think, and he's saying these things about me, right? I don't know if it was #1 when George was on, because who was listening when Neil was on vacation? Not as many. But you know what? You get my drift, right? You catch my drift on that. Because, and what this other person did when I first got married on the air, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Some of you may remember what I'm referencing. I'm not going to give any hints as to what it is. It was really bad what they did. It was really bad. And my wife and I, my wife heard them and picked up the phone and called them on the air before I even had a chance to deal with them. I couldn't believe. Because when things aren't true and you're being accused of things, you can take care of business. I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. I'm getting 4 new tires on my car, on my Mini Cooper at Friendly Tire in Margate. I get free oil changes at the dealership, right? So I go to the dealership for oil changes because they give me free oil changes, part of a package I got when I bought the car. And they said, "Oh, you need new tires." I said, "What do you charge for them?" Because I knew I'm not going to get the tires there. This is no exaggeration. I'm getting 4 new tires for less, installed out the door and on the road. 4 new tires for less than what they wanted for 1 at the dealer. Call Friendly Tire in Margate. Friendly Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be right back. Okay. I just say this. The person in here with the E. Jean Carroll stuff, pick up the phone and call me. I'll talk about E. Jean Carroll. I want to talk about E. Jean. I'll talk about Jane. The phone number, you don't have to agree with me to call. Don't spam my chat room. Call me on the air. Be a man, unlike Graham Plattner, who, like a little girl here. He's out on the back porch like what's he barbecuing with? An Easy Bake oven? Pick up the phone and call me. The number's pinned in the live chat. It's toll free. I'll talk about E. Jean Carroll. Absolutely. Absolutely. We don't shy away from things here. That's why we take calls. If you're on hold, hang in there. But you E. Jean Carroll person, Mr. Lizard Dude, pick up the phone and call. You can type. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Okay, hold on, guys. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll take a quick break, all right? And be right back.
How would you like to create professional documents in seconds instead of hours? You could do just that with DocAssistAI.pro, the AI-powered platform that helps you create, sign, send, and manage documents with ease. Need a contract, agreement, NDA, employment letter, or other business document? Just describe what you need in plain English, and DocAssistAI.pro creates a professional document in seconds. Need signatures? Send legally binding e-signature request with secure email verification, complete audit trails, and real-time tracking. Already have your own PDF? Upload it and collect signatures in just a few clicks. Working with a long contractor report? DocAssistAI.pro can even generate an AI-powered summary so you can understand the key points fast. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Visit DocAssistAI.pro. That's DocAssistAI.pro. Create, sign, send smarter with DocAssistAI.pro.
All right. Do you think our Trump derangement syndrome suffering E. Jean Carroll obsessed person in the chat room is going to call? The lizard man, whatever his name was. You're welcome to call. Maybe he's one of the people on hold. I don't know. We'll find out. So we got about 90 seconds and we'll be back. I'm going to get into the Graham Plattner dropping out of the race when we get back. Yep, hang in there. If you want to call in, the number's toll free. It's pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. If you can type with your lizard hands, you can dial. Okay, we got about a minute. We'll be back. Oh boy, what a coward. What a coward. Graham Plattner. All right, 1 minute. We'll be back in 1 minute. What happened to Lizard Man? He stopped talking. Maybe he is on hold. We'll see. All right, 40 seconds. Yep. He was just spamming the chat nonstop. E. Jean Carroll got paid. E. Jean Carroll got paid. All right, stand by. Less than 20 seconds. All right, hour number 2 has begun. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Okay, so Graham Plattner has suspended his campaign, and he put out this girly video. I got a clip of it. This is Graham Plattner's concession.
We believe that...
I don't know, concession. His announcement that he's dropping out of the Senate race in Maine.
We believe that for the movement to continue...
Okay, now I'm not going to stop it anymore. I'm going to play it uninterrupted, at least the first time. He refers to himself using the royal we. Just a couple months back, he was some loser bum living off of mommy. Now all of a sudden, he's using the royal we. This guy's ego is just gone through the roof.
We believe that for the movement to continue...
He's crying.
It can't be made.
He's crying.
And for that reason... we are suspending campaign operations. This is incredibly difficult because I know that some will think it's an admission of guilt, and it most certainly is not. We're not doing it because of the allegations. We're doing it because of the structures that are being taken away from us by those in power. And I also feel an immense amount of responsibility to everyone who has worked so hard to get us to where we are.
Okay. Now, there's a couple things I want to point out about this video. And you can go and look at this video for yourself at one of the things I'm going to point out. He's crying. You know, he's an actor. He was cast. They've had this image that he's this hard-working fisherman, like he's like a guy from Deadliest Catch. How many guys have died on Deadliest Catch? But they've been portraying him like this Deadliest Catch kind of blue-collar Marlboro man. And he does this deep voice, fight the old... I can't do the voice. I'll mess up my throat, and I've got, almost 2 hours of the show left. But he's got this deep, fight the oligarchy, fight the billionaire class. I'm Graham Platter. I'm tough. I'm the Marlboro man. I work hard for a living. I'm a blue-collar guy. And here he is, crying like a little girl, like some metrosexual little girl. We're lost. Because what you're there, and there's something else I'm going to point out to you as well. But what you're hearing is the real Graham Plattner, not this character, right? You ever see actors in real life? How many of you have met famous actors? I've met many a famous actor in my time. Almost everyone I've ever wanted to meet, almost. Well, actually, after I met so many, I stopped wanting to meet them because they never really live up to it. Especially the big strong guys, right? The big tough guys in the movies, the big tough guys on TV. They're actors. They're usually pretty wimpy in person, but they're tough on TV. They're tough in the movies. They're kicking butt, but in person. This guy, we saw him unscripted for the very first time. Without the Stop the Oligarchy speech that's written out for him, without the performances on television that he's rehearsed, we got to see what he's really like, and he's a little girl, a little metrosexual coward who's crying on television or on X and everywhere else with this video. It's not true. It's not true. I didn't do it. But I'm dropping out even though I didn't do it. Let me tell you. Wild horses with machine guns could not stop me if somebody was slandering me with such a god-awful allegation. There's no way, nothing would stop me from telling the truth. I would never let myself be slandered like that. But he is, little girl. But I noticed something about him. And those of you that are watching on my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube, you can see what I'm about to share. But go and look at the video. This is the video of his dropping out speech. And you can see a part of Graham Plattner I've never seen before. His hands and his nails. This guy is not some blue-collar guy. He doesn't have a single callus. Not only does he cry like a little girl, he has the hands and the fingernails of a woman. Graham Plattner has the hands of a man who's never done any hard physical labor in his life. This whole image that, he is some hardworking, blue-collar guy spending his day out in the boat with the fishing line and setting the traps and doing all this stuff. You don't have hands that look like this. His hands and his fingers are as soft as a baby's bottom. Now, I'm not a blue-collar worker. I push a bunch of buttons all the time, Got the arthritis from the dump button. That's a true story. But my hands are not as soft as this guy. right? And I just push buttons and use computers and a mouse all day and got the on and off button on the mic. You look at Graham Plattner's hands. This is not a guy who's done any blue-collar work in his life, and it blows his cover. You know, I've seen this in movies. I was watching a movie not too long ago. I can't remember what movie it was, and there was a tough guy like this, a construction worker type, and I noticed his hands. They did some bad. They shouldn't have shown the hands on camera. You look at his fingers. You look at his nails. Does he have polish on those nails? He might. Those hands haven't been outside, seen the outside for more than 10 minutes at a time. You don't have fingers like this working hard on the boat all day, doing blue-collar stuff. He has the hands of a woman, not the hands of a blue-collar guy, because everything about him is casting. Nothing about him is real. He's Graham Plattner, and he's an actor who just lost what was going to be the greatest role of his life, possibly the United States Senator from Maine. Not anymore, though. But go and look at and you guys can look this up on your own, okay? Go on X. You can go on my YouTube channel. You can go on my X, but you can go look it up on your own. It's the video. You can go to Graham Plattner's X. It's the video of him in his gray T-shirt yesterday announcing that he's suspending his campaign. And at one point, he scratches his beard, and he has his... I've never seen his hands before. Look at his hands. This guy... How is... And I'm nothing against a guy... I'm not a blue-collar guy, okay? The collar of my shirt I'm wearing right now is blue, but, you know, I don't have I don't have the hands of a hard-working laborer. I work my mouth, okay? And my fingers on, off, delete, the wheel on my mouse, you know? I may have a callus on at the tip of my index finger from the mouse wheel that I have here in the studio, you know? But go look at Graham Plattner's hands. Tell me that is this a guy that does hard work every day out there in the fish farm? Give me a freaking break. You know, I've watched these professional fishermen. You know, we have a lot of them here, even guys that have charter boats. Guys that work on boats and are professional fishermen do not have hands and nails that look like that. So go and look at his hands and nails, and then give me a call and describe them. And he does, and he has the hands of a girl that uses a lot of moisturizer and gets manicures. All right. Let's check in with John over at Lighthouse Medical, and he's going to tell us what they can do for those of you that are suffering from neuropathy over at Lighthouse Medical in Pompano.
Brian here. I'm at Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano, sitting with John. He's the Chief Operating Officer and Director of Neuropathy Treatment right here at Lighthouse Medical Center. You know, John, a lot of people have neuropathy. They may have had it for years. They've gone to their primary care physician, maybe even a specialist like a neurologist, and their doctors have told them there's no treatment for neuropathy. That's your life now. That's not true, is it?
No, it's not true, Brian. I mean, it's a real common misconception. There's a lot of clinicians who just don't understand neuropathy or how to assess it, how to treat it. We're specialized in this. One of the biggest frustrations is patients don't get proper blood work, metabolic dysfunction testing, looking at their gut health, inflammation, what are their lifestyle choices with diet, sleep, nutrition, hormones. There's so many things that can affect neuropathy. But typically, for most patients, we do a very extensive assessment with really extensive blood work, genetic blood work, and physical testing. And we're able to evaluate the patient to see, do you or don't you have neuropathy? And then we provide them with a treatment plan options for what would be needed to be done for their situation to help them get better.
You know, I've talked to quite a few of my listeners that are patients of yours, and I've heard incredible things. I've heard that people have seen relief from neuropathy symptoms after their very first treatment. And I've talked to people that had the treatment through you after years, and their neuropathy symptoms still have not returned.
Yes. We're able to help people who are at different stages of neuropathy. Some people in the very beginning stages, we don't want it to get bad, so we're able to treat it sooner because they come in sooner when they notice any sort of symptoms or suspect something. We have patients who have really bad neuropathy who are at 70, 80, 90% nerve damage in both of their lower extremities, and we're able to help them as well. That's the difference of them walking or not, or being able to get up and do things or not. So we have to assess each patient one by one, and that's what needs to be done with our extensive testing.
Call Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano and schedule your no-charge consultation right now. Let them treat you and rid you of your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com.
We'll be right back. All right, guys, so if you're on hold, hang in there. Give me a call. Tell me what you think about, how would you describe Graham Plattner's hands? 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You know, if you're a professional fisherman, you're doing all kinds of things getting hurt, right? You're damaging your hands, you're cutting yourself. Does that look like a guy who's a professional fisherman's hands to you? No freaking way. No freaking way. Mm-mm. Yeah, tell me what you think. Maybe I'm wrong. Got any fishermen out there, but call in and describe his hands. It could be a hand model. Like in Zoolander, remember David Duchovny was in Zoolander? He played a hand model, and he had his hand in that glass case to preserve it. A hand model. Yeah, for moisturizing cream. Oh my goodness. Give me a break. Yeah, it's insanity. I mean, come on. Come on. You know, everything about the left is fake. You know, when it comes to MAGA people, maybe you don't like them for whatever reason, but at least they're real, right? Yep, mom hands. Mm-hmm. That's correct. Okay, hold on. If you're on hold, stand by. I've never seen his hands before. Let me see. I'll go to the phones when we get back. See, this is interesting. He joined the Marines. And it says here in his bio, he went to Iraq. It says here, he was asked why he served in Iraq after protesting the war. He said, I thought I could do some good, and I wanted to play soldier. I may have read too much Hemingway. Oh, my goodness. What? What Hemingway did he read? I've read Hemingway. Oh, my goodness. He was inspired by Hemingway? His best defense against these allegations are that he's not into chicks. With these hands? Inspired by Hemingway to join the Marines and go to Iraq? We got just over a minute and we'll be back. Very bizarre, man. Very bizarre. Let's see. Yeah, just over a minute, we'll be back. Oh, man. By the way, guys, please like the video. If you've not already done it, like the video. When you like the video, it gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. And that helps so much in promoting everything. So please like the video. And I know a lot of you are doing that and doing it regularly. Thanks so much for that. It's greatly appreciated. Okay, we've got about 40 seconds and we'll be back. And I'll go to the phones. Yep, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. Oh, my goodness. And he's got perfect nails, too. Oh, my goodness. And, my hand, I don't have big calluses like that, but I'm not running around acting like I'm some deadliest catch veteran, you know? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, IB Broward.
Hey, IB. What's up?
Hey, Brother Brian.
What's up?
The first thing I thought was it about the hands too?
Really, the hands?
Like they have those shiny little glossy on the ends when you get the little nail polish thing glossy. And I also was curious about, is he married? Because is that a ring, a married ring? Supposedly he wants to, and the hand is obviously posed. So what does he want us to think about the ring? To give him some kind of
I don't know.
cover
You look
I
at this guy's. You look at this guy's Graham Plattner's hands. Okay. I know he was in the infantry in the Marine Corps, but I've got news for you. Everyone's in the infantry in the Marine Corps, all right? Everyone, hold on, I'll answer these lines, okay? Everyone in the Marine Corps is trained as an infantryman. What did he actually do? Did those look like the hands of a guy who was carrying a rifle, fighting in Fallujah?
Maybe he was doing the clerical and organizing. Hey, we're at that point. We are at that point. When I say if we don't have a decisive agreement with Iran, we're going to have to simply blast them. So when the president says on live television, calling another leader or any leader scum, and the reason that dumb idiots reported didn't get it as to asking stupid questions, he said, I got to know them. I told you guys when you said to me, Brian, you were kind of like the war's over, and why did Netanyahu fire on Hamas? And what I said was, I said Netanyahu understands these people, know how long.
He does. Hey, listen, IB, I'm gonna move on because that's kind of off topic, but I appreciate the call. Okay, I appreciate it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. Chris from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Chris.
Okay.
Have you seen Graham Plattner's hands?
Yeah, I think you're right on the money there. That's
do I have a good eye or what?
That's awesome. I mean, listen, I've had one or two manicures in my life, but no,
I've gone with my daughter. Well, like when my daughter was a little girl, I'd go with her and I'd get a manicure or a pedicure with my daughter at the place, But I don't get them. It's nothing against that, but I'm not going around acting like I'm the Marlboro Man who has a business right out of Deadliest Catch or Ice Road Truckers or something. You understand what one thing I learned, I used to watch Dancing with the Stars when it first came on television. Not anymore. And when they would have actors on, I learned something about acting I didn't know. The actors would overdo the facial expressions. Actors, television and movie actors, only worry about the head up. They don't worry about what's down below. And Graham Plattner, he's got the beard, the messed up hair, and he's got that fake voice going on. But if you get below the shoulders, he's a girl. I mean, he's crying over this. And the hands, those hands have not seen a day. My hands are more beat up checking the oil on my car.
Yeah, exactly. No, that looks like a monthly regimen for him.
Oh, but, the manicure and the moisture. He looks like to have hands like that as a man. Not only do you have to get regular manicures, which it's okay to get manicures as a guy, but don't go around acting like you're some construction worker, okay? But there's also a lot of moisturizing going on those hands.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, feminine. I mean, that's done a big scale there. But you know, this whole thing about these
you know, I can remember
for,
just when I was young, I used to go fishing all the time. Just regular fishing. I've had hooks go through my fingers and all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? And could you imagine if you've got some fish farm where you're out there making traps, setting traps, running lines. You're out there every day doing it. You got ropes. You got all kinds of things you're doing. Your hands would not look like that.
No, exactly. I mean, I just did some work rolling up a blind and shade on Tuesday, and I had what's called Indian burn, like some of my skin on my knuckles came off. I mean, just a simple thing.
Indian burn. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. You know, and nobody in the press, I tell you, I'm like an investigative journalist, man. I pick up on things.
Well, hey, you got a sharp eye, I tell you and Steve. They say you talk about you're the best listeners. Listen, I've only been listening to you guys since 2017. I wish I joined in earlier because you guys taught me a lot that we handled people, because I used to debate like a madman because I didn't like audacity, stupid people when it came to this Democrat nonsense that they listen to.
Yes.
They just told and sold, and they regurgitate. That's why when you ask them a question, they can't give you an answer, or they ignore a fact that you give.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, great show, man. But, yeah, that was a good pickup.
It certainly was. It was like in Charlottesville. It was like when I picked up in Charlottesville that the Nazis, the flags had creases in them right out of the package, you know, which showed they were.
I remember that. Oh, man, yeah, what a setup.
Yeah.
And like those signs are the people who, whatever, paid, joined, or protesters or whatever. They didn't know what was on their sign.
When I went to the No More Kings protest.
Right, exactly.
Yes. All right, man. Take care, Chris. All right, the rest of you on hold. I've uncovered a big scandal with Graham Plattner in the hands. But speaking of hands, I did mention I got arthritis in my hand, and it is true. It's from hitting the dump button. You know, every studio I've been in since I started, the dump button has always been on my right. And that's because I'm right-handed. And I've asked, and they've done this on occasion, is move the dump button to my right because I can hit it quicker. And that arthritis in my fingers was from hitting the dump button over the years. It really was true. So all of you liberals out there that have had the dump, you got even with me by giving me arthritis, but I don't have the arthritis pain anymore because I went to Dr. Appleton and I had this powerful pain, and I didn't know it was arthritis. I didn't know what it was. I thought I jammed my fingers, you know, like when you're playing basketball, I thought I jammed them. And he examined me and he says, "Brian, you have arthritis." And I said, "Doc, I'm done. That's it." You know, and I was afraid I was going to be like I used to see those old ladies when I was a kid whose knuckles were all swollen with the arthritis. He says, "No." He said, "Brian, the robotic laser treats arthritis." I said, "Man, this is really bad." And he said, "Does it feel like," I said, "The pain's so bad, Dr. Appleton, I don't know how to describe it." And Dr. Appleton said, "Does it feel like a bolt of electricity going through you?" I said, exactly how it feels. That's how bad it is, arthritis pain. I don't have it anymore, man. It's all gone. I'm ready to dump for another 35 years with that button. The robotic laser, I saw relief after the very first treatment, okay? And after he finished treating me with the robotic laser, not only is the arthritis pain gone, it is not returned. And let me tell you, arthritis pain is bad. I would tear up sometimes. The arthritis pain was really bad. It was really bad. And Dr. Appleton rid me of my arthritis pain. I've met many other listeners that have gone to Dr. Appleton for arthritis in different parts of their body, necks, knees, other parts of their body, hips, and their arthritis is gone too. It is amazing. Remember, appointments are not necessary. The consultation's free. Walk-ins are always welcome, even on Saturdays. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. All right. We got Handgate. Right? Handgate. Oh, boy. If you're on hold, hang in there, guys. Hang in there. We're going to take a quick break and be right back.
What if the greatest power in New York was hidden in 3 teenage girls? Step into 1996 Bronx, where friendship, family, first love, and ancient magic collide. In Bronx Witches, The Awakening, available on Amazon. 3 best friends discover powers that will change their lives and the fate of the world. If you love urban fantasy, magic, supernatural adventures, and unforgettable characters, Bronx Witches is the book you've been waiting for. Bronx Witches, The Awakening, from author Carrie Abron, is available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. Your destiny is waiting. Order your copy right now. Are you looking for jewelry that's as unique as you are? Then check out Kita Luxury on Etsy, where every piece is handcrafted with passion, artistry, and the natural beauty of genuine crystals and gemstones, inspired by a love for one-of-a-kind bohemian designs. Kita Luxury was created with a simple mission to make extraordinary handmade jewelry accessible to everyone. Behind every creation is a talented team of skilled artisans, each bringing their custom expertise to metalwork, stone cutting, beading, and fine jewelry craftsmanship to produce stunning wearable works of art. Whether you're searching for a breathtaking statement necklace, elegant earrings, handcrafted bracelets, beautiful rings, or meaningful jewelry for both men and women, you'll discover pieces that celebrate your individuality and personal style. Every design is carefully handcrafted using high-quality, natural materials, creating jewelry that's more than an accessory. It's a reflection of who you are. Whether you're shopping for yourself or searching for the perfect gift, Kita Luxury offers timeless handcrafted jewelry designed to inspire, delight, and be treated for years to come. These healing crystals are some of the best healing jewelry on Etsy. Visit KeetaLuxury.etsy.com. That's KEETA luxury.etsy.com. KeetaLuxury.etsy.com. Handcrafted jewelry that tells your story. KeetaLuxury.etsy.com.
All right, here we go. All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Now, last week was a holiday week, and Attorney Barry Siegel, you made a huge announcement last week, and it's still going on for the month of July. You have an incredible offer. Can you tell people about the offer before you get into what you're going to discuss today? Because this is I've never known you to do something like this. Is amazing to offer you're setting out there.
Well, sure. Good morning, Brian. For the month of July, the month that we're celebrating Independence Day, we wanted to give people independence from the idea of not feeling protected, from not having peace of mind, to know that they have everything in place and they have their affairs in order. So we're offering $1,000 off for any Steve Kane show listeners who call in, let our team know that they're calling about this particular deal, and if they come in this month and get started this month, hire us this month to get their estate planning done, to get a living trust plan done, we are going to give them $1,000 off.
Wow.
Their fee for their living trust package.
Wow.
So that's our July deal, and yeah, we've never done that before, so it is special. And really what I was just going to talk about today was how most most estate plans don't work properly, and there are a lot of reasons why. Some of those reasons are simply because people just don't have the right estate plan. People may have one that's given to us, so the default one given to us by the state, meaning you haven't done anything other than have what the state gives us, the rules of intestacy. And so we want to make sure that people are educated so that they can select the right estate plan for themselves, whether it be a will-based plan or a trust-based plan or anything even more advanced that may need to be done. And also a lot of times estate plans are, when we review them, we find that they could have inconsistent provisions in them, that they could have out-of-date provisions in them, they could have the wrong people in there, meaning people who are no longer living, serving as trustee or power of attorney or healthcare surrogate, ex-spouses, people who are no longer in your lives are just not the right choices. So there's a lot of reasons why your estate plan may not be done properly, and that's why it's a good idea to come in, have it reviewed if you have an existing plan, or if you don't have a plan, it's time to get it done. And that's why we're offering the special to give people the opportunity who might be on the sidelines to get it done this month.
Yeah, and think about it. You know, if you don't have things updated, not only can your ex-wife inherit whatever you leave behind, but so can her next husband, right? Can you imagine? Oh, my goodness. Listen, give the Siegel Law Group a call. And again, you've got to mention this because this is just for our listeners. Mention the Steve Kane Show offer, and it's $1,000 off for the month of July. It's $250 times 4. The number's toll-free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. And Siegel is spelled S-I-E-G-E-L. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel will finish out the week tomorrow.
All right, great. Thanks, Brian.
All right, take care, guys. And by the way, I've never known Barry Siegel to make an offer like that, so don't let it go by. All right, well, we've uncovered Handgate. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, conservative.
Oh, hey, Doug.
You know, I was going to say something about Graham, but I got to say something first about Iran. You know, apparently in Iran, these third and fourth, fifth down the chain of command think that they don't want to have a peace thing, and or maybe they want to just figure, I got the last bunch of weapons we got to use them because we'll never be able to use them again. Whatever the case is, you know, I think President Trump now should say, look, you have the time is up. Sign the deal right now, and I'll stop. Otherwise, I'm going to take you. I'm taking the oil, and you should take the damn oil and use that money from the oil to pay back for what we're doing. But I heard that some of these Iranians think that we've depleted our assault capabilities, which is totally ridiculous.
I don't know. Well, you got to understand. They watch CNN.
Yeah. Exactly. CNN is another poison. But, you know, when you mentioned that funeral, I said, oh, all the most important people must be there. What a target. But President Trump is too much of a
there were some people there were some leaders from other countries that were there. You know, but it reminded me back in the really the early days of the war in Afghanistan, because G.W. Bush was still president, and there was a senior Taliban leader who was killed, and they had a funeral, and we had them in the target, and we didn't take them out. And I remember the New York Post, the front of the New York Post was a spy photograph of the funeral. You could see all the leaders of the Taliban were there, and Bush didn't take them out. And then there was Bill Clinton had 2 opportunities to take bin Laden out, obviously before 9/11, and he didn't do it. You know, so President Trump had his reasons, but the funeral looked like a good target to me.
Man, I agree, but you know, like I said, I think President Trump is hoping that they were going to sign the deal. And so he held the trigger, and plus like I said, he's a humanitarian, kind person.
Yes.
He didn't want to attack him during a funeral. But now everybody should be targeted. They should take them all out and say, hey, look, sign this deal.
Right.
There's no more talking.
Well, listen, I gotta run, Doug, but I appreciate the call. Okay, take care. There's a couple of stories I want to mention before I break because I will forget about them. One of them okay, next month are the Florida primaries. And we've got a great guy. His name is Byron Donalds. He's endorsed by the president. He is so far ahead that the others aren't even in the running, right? Fish Sticks and the lieutenant governor of Florida, whose name I don't even remember. The lieutenant governor did not win the election to be lieutenant governor. The lieutenant governor was a woman who resigned to become the president, I think, of Florida International University down in Miami, which is a really good school, by the way. And the lieutenant governor is running. He has not been elected. And Byron Donalds is ahead by light years, not just in the polls, but also fundraising. And it's pretty bad when I don't even know the name of the other candidates. He's so far ahead. But a story dropped yesterday, and I'm going to share it with you. And give you my thoughts on it about the smear. They dropped their October surprise a little early, or at least it's part one of it. There's a video that is, you can't, there's a little audio, but you can't hear it, and it's taken inside of a grocery store. And over on the Gulf of America coast. Byron Donalds' congressional district is over on the Gulf Coast. It's over near this. Is it near Sarasota? His district. It's on the Gulf of America coast, and Sarasota, Naples area is where Byron Donalds' district is. And he is in a suit and tie. He's in his regular congressman clothes. It's a video from about 4 years ago, and he's got his security guard there, and he's in this grocery store, arguing with this woman. And they're kind of like in a little, it's in the grocery store, and the grocery store is open, but they're kind of like, there's this section, and they're kind of like back in this little cubbyhole section to stay out of the view of everybody, because Byron Donalds is famous and he's in his district, and they're in an argument. And she says that he was threatening her. And by the way, it's right next to a MyPillow display. There's a MyPillow display in this grocery store. There's a MAGA grocery store over in Naples, Florida. I've not been there, but it is, I think it's there. I'm not 100%, but I think it's in that conservative MAGA grocery store over in Naples. Are you guys familiar with this? They've got displays of President Trump up inside the place and everything. It's pretty famous. People travel just to see it. I've not gone over there to see it yet, but I'm thinking it's that, because there's how many grocery stores have MyPillow displays up on the sales floor? And apparently the woman and Byron Donalds and his wife were involved in some lawsuit over something a few years ago, which has since been settled. And this video came out alleging that he's making threats of the woman. I'm going to destroy you if you don't drop the suit. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But he's not happy with her. But what is the deal with this video? Where did it come from? And why is it here now? And how did they end up in the same grocery store together? Did the woman go there to confront Byron Donalds? Byron Donalds is in his congressman suit, and he's got his security guy with him. And at that particular grocery store, they have political events there. Fish Sticks, that is running in the Republican primary for governor, he had a town hall meeting there a few months ago on the sales floor. So they do political events at this grocery store. So I'm wondering, was Byron Donalds just there in his blue suit, congressman suit, with his bodyguard shopping, and ran into the woman who was happened to be suing his wife, or was he there for an appearance and she showed up? I'm very curious about how this conference, but they're out there trying. Let me tell you something. Byron Donalds is a great candidate. He's got the endorsement of President Trump, and I love the guy. And I'm very excited that he's going to be our governor. The next governor of this state has a lot to live up to, because Ron DeSantis, with all of his faults, has been the greatest governor this state has had in my lifetime. All right, and I have followed all the governors closely, and we've had good governors. Rick Scott was a great governor. He was the greatest governor we ever had until DeSantis. And even Jeb Bush, the turtle, things didn't go well for him in the first campaign with Trump. So, but Jeb Bush was a great governor. He won, And in 1998, and we've had a Republican governor and Republican state legislature since Jeb won. We've had almost 30 years of Republican rule, and Jeb broke the teachers union. The teachers union took a mortgage out on their office building in Tallahassee just to support a candidate running against Jeb when he ran for re-election. I mean, Jeb was but DeSantis has been better than all of them. And Byron Donalds has a lot to live up to. And these other guys, Fish Sticks and the lieutenant governor, whose name I don't even know. Byron Donalds is my guy, no doubt about it. And I am very suspicious of this video. And I'm also suspicious that Fish Sticks just had a town hall meeting a couple months ago in that same grocery store. So, no, it's not enough. I need some more context on what was really going on. I want to talk about Sloman Central Air Conditioning. Oh, unbelievable deal they got here. Listen to this. Sloman Central Air Conditioning is offering a high-efficiency 5-ton, 18-SEER system that uses R454B refrigerant for just $59.99 with zero down, zero payments, and zero interest for 18 months. Plus, your Sloman Central Air Conditioning unit comes with a 5-year bumper-to-bumper service plan, which includes annual system maintenance, filter replacement, and refrigerant. Refrigerant too, right? That's right, refrigerant. And you'll also receive the Sloman Shield home security system installed with 5 years of professional central station monitoring included with your AC package. It's an incredible deal. Give Sloman Central Air Conditioning a call right now, 561-217-COOL, 561-217-COOL, 561-217-COOL. We'll be right back.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98. Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept! Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
How would you like to find your next great read without wasting hours digging through millions of mediocre books? You can do just that at NovelHolla.com. NovelHolla.com is an ebook store built for readers who care about quality. Unlike massive online bookstores that overwhelm you with endless choices, every title is selected with readers in mind, so you can spend less time searching and more time reading. And at NovelHolla.com, when you buy a book, it's yours. You're not locked into a proprietary platform or forced to use a specific device. Just download your books, read them where you want, and even share them with your friends and family. And best of all, great books aren't expensive either. Every book at NovelHolla.com is just $3.99. There's also a subscription plan for just $5.99 a month. Stop sorting through millions of books that you'll never read when someone else has already found the good ones for you. Visit NovelHolla.com right now. That's NovelHalla. NovelHolla.com. A curated library of books you'll actually enjoy. NovelHolla.com.
All right, we've got a little over a minute until we're back. About 90 seconds, I think, until we're back. I've got some other things to cover. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you want to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat. Well, I'm glad we got to the bottom of Handgate. You know, back in about a minute. Everything with these Democrats is a lie. Nothing with the Democrats is real. Nothing's organic. It's all a bunch of lies. Let me see if I got any other. I got one. I got to go through this particular soundbite when we get back. Oh, yes. This one, too. Okay. Do this one first. If you're on hold, stand by. We got about 40 seconds and we'll be back. Oh, man. I tell you. What a day. I've got such a busy day, too. A busy, busy day. I actually set my alarm for 12:30 a.m. I got up at 12:30 a.m. today. Oh, it's just the... You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. Ricochet. How you doing today?
All right, man. What's up?
Just a couple of things I wanted to point out. I tell you one thing. I think you're getting to. I think you're getting to Doc. I mean, he's still a unhinged liberal, but it sounds like he's softening up a little bit. You know, so I think give him another decade, he probably may come around.
A decade.
But you know, you had mentioned the Qatar
No,
Air Force
before
One,
you get to the Air Force One, Doc has already been red pilled. He's pissed off that it's happened, and he can't get himself to say it. He's been listening to the. For those that aren't familiar, Doc, he's black and Democrat and Trump derangement syndrome sufferer. He calls me early in the show a lot, and he's been totally red pilled, and he's been unglued lately, and it's because he can't admit it. And it's obvious. He's total. He knows we're right, and he's MAGA now, and it's eating him up inside. That's what I think. I don't know. Sounds that way to me.
I agree. I mean, there's been a couple of calls where he almost sounded like he was getting ready to say you're right, Brian, but he just couldn't bring himself to do it. But anyway,
it's true.
You know, in my past life, I used to move high value targets, and you had said something about Air Force One maybe not being as much of a defense. What it is, I believe, in my opinion, is it was a strategic shell game move. You know, you sent out a decoy, you know, to kind of draw it away. Maybe the Air Force One that he flew on, the old one, you know, the Iranians could have probably thought that might have been the press force, something like that, but they're always going to target, you know, the brand new one. So they fly it ahead and keep them on the safe one, you know. But I don't think it has anything to do with...
Well, you know, when the president flies on Marine One, if any of you guys have ever been to see Marine One take off, there two of them take off, and when they're in the air, you don't know which one the president's in. They go in different directions.
Exactly.
It happens every time.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of that's my opinion anyway. And you know, because we used to move prisoners with the Federal Bureau of Prisoners and the Marshal team, and
oh really?
You know, sometimes
Con Air? Con Air?
I worked with the Federal Prison Bureau, and sometimes we'd go with the U.S. Marshals and transporting, you know, from one place to another. Yeah, Con Air. I mean, that was kind of a. You know, that was a movie thing. But anyway,
did your prisoners have all that? Did your prisoners have all that personality, as like in the movie?
Some of them, oh yeah,
really?
Yeah, some of them, yeah. I didn't deal with the Supermax people except one. But in my career, I wasn't high enough to deal with them, and that was Manson. You know, he was such a manipulator that, you know, only the lieutenants and above were able to deal with him.
Oh, really? You know, a lot of people, you guys may not know, you know, Steve Kane was in the courtroom with Charles Manson during his trial. He was sitting behind him in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's on your mind today, though? What you call? We were talking about. Well,
anyway,
what I was talking about is the press, the media leaked out though about that President Trump wasn't going to be on the main Air Force One, and they're putting a target. They're putting ideas in the Iranians' minds.
It does. I know, and that's it. It's like they gave the things that, oh my gosh, you know, we got these two different planes going on, and now they just told him what plane he was on. And that was the thing, is that they told him what plane to look for next time, you know? So that was the problem. And really quick with Plattner, I think he's too stupid to really make the call. I don't think he actually called went to quit himself. He was told to step down. I don't believe the we is the royal we you're talking about. I think it was the we of the people around him and his campaign people.
Yeah.
They all said that we're going to stop, you know. I don't think he's smart enough to call
I'll
off
tell
the
you
decision
something.
himself,
He was crying with his girly hands. If they had paid him off, I don't think he'd be crying. So I don't think he got paid.
Well, yeah. No. Well, either that or he just wants everybody to think that, because maybe he's got maybe he wants to run again in the future, so he's trying
Good
to
luck.
save face a little bit.
Where's he going to run?
Anyway,
as a Nazi.
yeah, exactly. No, exactly. No, I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad it's the good Lord's watching over this country, and we're all going in the right place. Just gotta keep pace with it.
All right, take care, man. All right, you take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ, what's up?
Well, so from what I understand, the SS Panzer commander has dropped out of the race. He's
Yes.
barbecuing chicken in an easy bake while getting a manicure on his.
Did you see Graham Plattner's hands?
Yes.
Okay, am I being too hard on him?
The first time I saw them, Brian, was I never look at a guy's hands, but in the video what you showed on YouTube, you froze it like right there.
Yes.
I mean, he looks like and I was like, oh my God.
Exactly.
So then you can see. I mean, he's got the polished look. I think one of the callers pointed that out. I mean, it looks like he just got he just got out of having a manicure.
He's not though. His whole background's fake.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, I wanted to thank him, Brian. I wanted to quite honestly come on, and I just think we all owe him a big debt of. I mean, I want to thank him for his service in the destruction, in doing his duty in the destruction, helping destroy the Democrat Party. Because to me, that's what he's done. That's what they've done to themselves, and it's sort of like
well, Jay, there's some truth to that. However, I don't like this thing that they've done it twice now with Kamala and Joe. Now they've done it with him, where the Democrats, somebody wins the primary, then the polls are nosediving, and then they take them out and plug somebody in that didn't get a single vote, and they start over again. While they haven't had success in a victory yet, this is going to be the new normal for the Democrats, and it's not a good precedent to set. It invalidates the primary process.
I think that Brian, I think that wakes up a lot of people. Yes, I mean, I think of it that it's not normal. People see that it's destructive. And I think it brings people. Wherever those people go, if they don't come to MAGA, the Republican Party, they're fighting themselves. I think the whole thing is good for the normalcy for we the people that have.
Yeah, that's true. Well, listen, I'm running short on time, so I got to run. But I appreciate the call. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to talk Coastal Weight Loss Secret, guys. This offer will end without notice. Okay, they're just going to email me or text me in the morning, and say that's it. Okay, and they have not done that yet. Coastal Weight Loss Secret, where I had this miraculous weight loss that you've seen, and I've kept all the weight off. You know, I reached my goal weight well over a year ago, and I have not gained back a single ounce. And you guys, go back and look at me on YouTube before I lost all this weight with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Without pills, without injections, none of that stuff. Okay? Without exercise, without starving myself and eating foods I would normally eat. It's amazing. And my face was round before. And really, I'm quite embarrassed that I let myself go. I didn't realize. You know, I had partially obstructed view with my stomach. I didn't realize my face was completely round. I looked terrible. But, you know, I saw myself every day, and it happened so gradually I didn't notice. Well, now I look great. I got a square jaw, got my neck back, totally flat stomach. And I'm down to the weight I was 30 years ago when my wife and I got married. And right now, Coastal Weight Loss Secret, for a very limited time, they're offering $400 off. $400 off. So give them a call, 561-247-6300. This is their 4th of July 250th anniversary special. It is still in effect this week. 561-247-6300. Remember, Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help you lose weight no matter where you are located in America. Give them a call, $400 off, 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Steve will be joining us after the top. Call us on hold. Stand by. We'll also go back to our phones. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. Be back with your calls and Steve Kane right after this. Hmm. Okay, we got about 40 seconds and we'll be back.
Okay.
All right, the 8 o'clock hour has begun. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Steve, let me take a call or two for people that have been hanging on, and then we'll get into some stuff because a lot's happened.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let's go. I'll take 1 or 2 calls, and we'll do it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Steve from Staten Island.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Stephen, too.
Yeah, wonderful. And the thing is that it's Roseman and with the Democrats first, they have this old Carter, Biden, and everything, wandering around and such. Then you have Kamala, who gets wiped out against Trump. Now you have this guy who really a socialist. Are they that desperate?
Oh, Graham Plattner.
And yes. And the majority of these Democrats are saying, are you out of your mind? We're leaving if you're going to do that. The Democrats are just breaking up into pieces.
Well, there's something there with it. You're correct. They are. By the way, you made some good points. Appreciate the call. I was just looking here before I get into this. I'll get into the latest stuff on Graham Plattner, who's dropped out of the race. It's Bonnie Tyler, the singer, just died. Do you know Bonnie Tyler?
No, never heard of her.
I think. Yeah, she's in her 70s. Bonnie Tyler is dead. I think, off the top of my head, didn't she sing that song, I Need a Hero? You guys remember that song, I Need a Hero? And I think...
Not familiar with it.
What about Total Eclipse of the Heart?
Nope.
Oh, that's generational. I guess because those are 80s songs. Those are 80s songs. Bonnie Tyler died. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Total Eclipse of the Heart? You never heard that song?
I didn't even know she was sick.
You never heard of Total? That's generational. Total. I don't want to say. If I start telling you the lyrics of which you would recognize, I'll start singing, and the last thing you want me to do is sing. Okay, guys, I promise you. But yeah, Bonnie Tyler. This is what happens when you go. It's happened to you more than me because you're older, Steve. But everybody dies that you grew up with.
If I could switch the subject for a second, well, do you think that when you say Graham's out of the race? You think he's really out? You think he's going to walk away and this is the last we'll hear from him?
No, it's not the last we'll hear from him. It's not the last we'll hear from him.
What do you think is most likely where he'll turn up again?
He'll be on the Democrat Socialist speaker circuit.
So you think he's going to end up playing ball and not trying to gum up the works? Is that what you're saying?
Did you see his video with the girly hands I was talking about?
No.
Well, this is what... Now, maybe I'm wrong.
Are you talking about the video he did by the roadside where he gave that impassioned defense?
No. He released another video where he's the dropping out video he just released yesterday.
Yes. Last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a different one than you're talking about. And he was like crying in that video. And what will happen moving forward with Graham Plattner depends on something, and this is what it is. Who got him to drop out? Was it the Democrat Socialist of America, or was it the Democrat establishment? Right? And I think it was the Democrat establishment. And he was crying in the video. He was crying. Mr. Tough Guy with his manicured nails and moisturized blue-collar hands. You know,
it's funny. I flashed in on something when I was watching him give that pathetic speech at Roadside. When I was working for Cabot in New York, there was a New Jersey politician that was a disgrace. He'd been caught in some kind of a scandal, as I recall. And we were sitting around the lunchroom with ABC, and they said they had this hot bit of tape they wanted to show us. And they had this guy, he was a mayor, who was making a speech, kind of the circumstances like last night, where he was admitting to wrongdoings and doing mea culpas and all that. And I flashed in on this last night. It was deja vu all over again. Because this guy, I wonder if anybody knows who I'm talking about. This Jersey politician, he was giving a press conference. He was talking just like our guy. And all of a sudden, at the end of it, he pulled out a revolver, stuck it in his mouth, and pulled the trigger and blew his head off on screen.
Yeah, that's a very famous thing. Yeah.
This was not.
But it wasn't a national. I was a local guy.
Well, I don't know. He was a mayor of Jersey.
Yeah, he was a mayor or something. I remember.
I mean, when if you've ever seen anybody blow their head off,
yeah, I've seen it. I remember.
Not a pretty sight.
Yeah. Well, Graham Plattner. See, this is what. If I think the Democrats, not the Democrat Socialists, forced him out, and whatever they did to get him to do it was pretty heavy duty because he was crying.
You know what it is. Don't you know what it is?
They did not pay him off. I don't think he got bought off.
No, I'll tell you what my theory is. I don't know this for a fact, but I bet you anything in the world. I think what they did is this last lady who registered a complaint said it was the most recent of all the complaints. And they said at the end that the statute of limitations had not expired on the rape complaint, and that if he didn't resign, they were going to bring him to trial.
Yeah, go to prison.
For felony rape.
Yeah. And, he really, I would imagine that, they've been trying to get him to drop out, and he said no. And they probably offered him some money, and then he said no. Because there's more money. Bernie said there's more money in being in the Senate. Stay in the Senate, And since he didn't take the money to drop out, they made the offer he couldn't refuse: drop out or go to prison.
We don't know. We don't know when we say he's dropping out. We don't know what that looks like.
He said he's done. He's out.
Well, no, but there's still. It's in the official record. He has got the post.
He said, but they haven't printed up the ballots yet. He said
he has to formally give his consent.
Yes,
he hasn't done that officially yet.
So he could still be on the ballot.
Yeah, well, I think he can. I think he can, and I think he will be a pain in their ass. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to cause them a lot of grief.
It's possible.
I think when it dawns on him that he no longer has a platform to speak on.
Yes.
I think he's going to have a very bad reaction.
Well, they could, if he's still. See, this is where it gets interesting, okay? Because Bernie Sanders and Mamdani, who are Democrat socialists, they said the other day he should drop out, but they didn't really mean it. That was just so that they're not connected to the rape allegation publicly. They're just, if the Democrats made him do this, the Democrat establishment, and not the Democrat socialists, the Democrat socialists will still stand behind him and tell him to stay in. Because the Democrat socialists are not about helping the Democrat Party. They're about they're destroying it from within is what their goal is, right? So you could be right. I hope he stays on the ballot. I hope so. That would be awesome.
Oh, I don't think we've seen the last of him in this campaign.
Yep.
I think they're going to have to get him to sign something, and I'm not sure he's going to be easy.
I don't know. He may not want to. He may not want to sign just because he doesn't want to mess up his nails. You should see this guy's nails. Oh my goodness. Okay, but before we break, If you'd like to call in, if you want to share any thoughts on this, please do. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. Steve and I are at a bit of a... I thought I had this all locked up, but now I'm a little confused. Did he drop out? Because now that you mention it, I heard the term suspending my campaign.
Yes.
Suspending
right.
so suspending my now that you say that, suspending my campaign is different than I'm out.
That's correct, and they've got to get his signature. It's something he's got to sign. He's officially been nominated, and to get him off the ballot, he's got to go through some aggressive steps.
Yeah.
And I don't know that he's going to do it that easily.
Yeah. Well, if any of you out there have any thoughts on that, if anyone can add any clarity or educated opinions on this, will Graham Plattner still be on the ballot? Has he withdrawn from the campaign? I don't know. So if you have some clarity on that in the audience, give us a call. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. But I want to talk about Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. And I was talking about Dr. Gupta earlier at Brighton Dental. And he is a top dentist who's highly educated, highly skilled, does incredible work. And he has an old-fashioned practice, right? You know, and a lot of times, because we're in South Florida, you know, there's these newfangled dental practices going around that think everybody lives on South Beach, right? And their pricing is insane. And then when you go to the dentist, I need a toothache taken care of or something. You go in there, and then they're upselling you on everything. They're trying to get you a whole new set of veneers and all this stuff. You know, you go in for a filling, and to these other places, and you come out with a second mortgage on your house. Dr. Gupta doesn't do that. I mean, he is a real family, old-fashioned dentist. As I said, with old-fashioned prices. His prices, like his what doctors have bedside, dentists have what, Steve? Chairside manner? I don't know what the term is. But he has an old-fashioned family dental practice, but he also has old-fashioned prices that are from another era, I'm here to tell you. And you'll find that out when you go see Dr. Gupta over at Brighton Dental. I'm going to give you the number in a minute. Get ready to write it down. He's been with the Steve Kane Show for a long time, many years, but he's also a longtime listener to the program, and he's been listening to the Steve Kane Show since before I was a part of the Steve Kane Show. So when you go and meet with Dr. Gupta over at Brighton Dental, you're going to feel like you know the guy, because you're going to have a lot in common, because he's been listening to the show for so long, since the 80s.
An old-fashioned dentist with old-fashioned prices.
That's correct.
That was his motto in the beginning.
And it always has, and it still stands today. Give Dr. Gupta over at Brighton Dental a call, 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. We'll be right back. All right, Steve, I'm going to put you on hold for a minute, okay? Hold on.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night, and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98. Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept! Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
Okay, hang in there. I wanted to play this. I'm going to play this for you guys during the break. This is MS Now. This anchor is a Muslim guy, and he's interviewing this Muslim candidate, Saeed in Michigan. Listen.
You got attacked by your rivals for calling yourself a physician, not just a doctor, even though you don't have a valid state medical license in New York or Michigan, which apparently is what you need legally to call yourself a physician. Do you wish you'd just stuck to calling yourself a doctor, which you are, to avoid all of this controversy and attacks on your physician status?
You know, at the end of the day, it's not about whether or not I'm a physician or a doctor. The question is, can you see a doctor? It's not about my education. It's about whether or not your kid gets good at education.
So this guy's been busted for claiming he's a physician when he's not licensed, and he's still grinning ear to ear like Mamdani.
So I'm just not spending
that's a good
time.
line, but people would say it's also about, did you tell the truth?
Well, I would say that I was the health director for the city of Detroit, and I've done more to provide more people health care or eliminate their medical debt than most doctors have done in their practice career.
Wow. So he's not a physician. Is he a doctor? I don't know. It's a little confusing. Okay, stand by. What time are we going to be back? Okay. All right. Steve, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, we got 1 minute. We'll be back in 1 minute. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there, guys. All right, 30 seconds. All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve's here. I'm Brian, and let's take another call or two. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Oh, hey, Brian.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Steve. How are you today? The thing that really puzzles me a lot is, for me, the strength inside the Democratic Party has been, always will be, the Jewish community, whether it comes to the media or finance and that. How does a guy like Graham Plattner get this far to stand for running for the Senate representative of the Democratic Party? Why wasn't he taken down a lot earlier before this and avoid all this stuff?
Because
Steve's decision, let me answer. It's a great question. Let me give you an answer. The answer is that Graham Plattner, like all the other politicians in the Democratic Party, are just political hacks. And they go with the course of least resistance. And they went with this guy because he looked like on paper he was going to be able to beat this. What's the Republican?
Susan Collins. Susan Collins.
Susan
They
Collins,
thought they didn't care what he stood for or what he said, or if he was an anti-Semite or a hate monger or whatever, as long as he was ahead of the polls. So it just,
I know, but
the villain here are the behind-the-scenes leaders in the Democratic Party.
And I'll add another thing to it. First off, he was picked by the Democrat Socialists, not the Democrats, okay? And they're trying to destroy the Democrat Party. But the thing about it is it's popular to be an anti-Semite now on the left, if you haven't noticed. And this is this is a popular fad now, hating Jews, and so let's run with that. That might get us some votes.
Scapegoating of the Jews is nothing new historically. It's been existed through history.
But there's I wanted to hold on, Brian. Don't go. I wanted to share this with you, Steve. There's a new poll that came out today. Okay, this is in Mediaite, a poll of Jewish Americans. Listen to this. In this new poll, Jewish Americans favor Mamdani more than Netanyahu by 32 points. So what the heck? How's that even possible? Mamdani is
that poll, Brian?
You don't know the answer to that?
The Associated Press released the poll.
No. Wait a minute. You don't know the reason for that? It's a very simple answer to that question. The reason for that seeming incongruity is that basically they suffer from Trump derangement syndrome, which distorts everything. And it's got Jews supporting the Palestinians.
It's a poll from the done by the University of Chicago.
Wow. I don't know. I just find it that this guy can get any type of support from the Jewish community. I mean, the real power group within the Democratic Party, this guy is I think he just blew up in their face, really. Whether he'll be around, I don't know. But this guy is so repulsive. Running a Nazi with the tattoos and everything for senator from Maine.
Well, this guy's a raving lunatic. So you don't know what to expect from him. He could go quietly into the night.
This guy's on the campaign trail. He's opening the door for a lot of other people to run with a similar platform. I just can't believe that the strength in the Democratic Party, the Jewish community, is not going to say, wait a minute, this is too much.
Schumer endorsed him.
Yeah.
Schumer's the highest ranking. Schumer is the highest.
He was marching in the Gay Day parade.
Yeah, on his way to the ovens.
Yeah.
Schumer is the highest ranking Jew in the United States. Right, so far as a government official, and he endorsed this Nazi. So,
Is it possible that sometimes the Democratic leaders or the Jewish community within the Democratic can be their own worst enemy?
This is a public relations disaster. This is a public disaster for the Democrats.
Yeah.
Which means it's a good thing. Listen, thank you for your call.
Oh, by the way, did you see the latest with Andrew Gillum, Steve, that got arrested on drug charges? Andrew Gillum?
No.
Andrew Gillum was supposed to be the new Obama, right? And he was the Democrat nominee for governor of Florida in DeSantis's first run. And he almost was the governor. Donald Trump saved us from this guy. And if Donald Trump had not endorsed Ron DeSantis, Andrew Gillum would have become our governor. He was a Democrat.
He was the black guy, right?
He still is black, I believe. Yeah, in his mugshot at least. Yeah, he was yes. And remember, right after he lost the governor's race to Ron DeSantis and DeSantis's first governor's run, he was found passed out in his own vomit in a Miami motel room with a male prostitute. And there were drugs all over the. Remember that? He just got arrested on some drug charges in another state. His mugshots all over the place. And this guy, they were grooming him to be the new Obama. And he actually did well in the first debate. He did with DeSantis. He did pretty well in that first campaign, and it was scary, this guy. And but you know what? He's the perfect Democrat. He's closeted gay. He likes male prostitutes and illegal drugs, and that's who they like because they can control him. The Democrats like candidates like Andrew Gillum that they can control. You know what I mean? These flawed people like Massey had all of his lady problems, right? That's why the establishment liked Massey. I want to talk just briefly because what I got to say is so great about Friendly Tire in Margate. So I take my car in for an oil change, and I take my car to the dealership because I get free oil changes at the dealership with my car, and it's really, the reason they give you free oil changes is not because they're generous. They're trying to sell you overpriced stuff at the dealer, right? And they said, oh, you need new tires. And I knew right then and there that if I need new tires, I know I'm getting them at Friendly Tire, but I asked them for the price. And when they told me, I've had cars that cost less, okay? I've got cars that cost less than what they wanted for tires. So I went over to Friendly Tire in Margate. I'm getting 4 brand new tires for less than what the dealer wanted for 1. I'm getting 4 brand new tires out the door, and I only really needed 2 new tires. But I'm getting all 4 because I want them to match and be brand new because the deal's so good. I'm getting 4 new tires for less than the dealer wanted for 1. Friendly Tire in Margate. Give them a call. Telling you, that's all I need to say. I just got to give you the number. Friendly Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. We'll be right back. All right, Steve, I'll put you on hold, okay?
Okay.
Hold on.
Do you owe back taxes? Jamie Levac at Swift Tax is here to help. He's helped people just like you with their IRS problems, and he doesn't charge those outrageous high fees the other companies demand. Jamie Levac at Swift Tax charges only a small fraction of what those companies charge. Stop worrying every time the mailman comes that he's bringing you a letter from the IRS. Call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax right now, 954-773-1587, 954-773-1587.
My Pillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium My Pillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98. Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept! Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
Yeah, I was right. Yeah, Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart. I thought so. Total Eclipse of the Heart. But I did not know that she was Welsh. Did you guys know Bonnie Tyler was Welsh? I Need a Hero. That's another great song. Did you know she was Welsh? I had no idea. All right, Steve, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we've got about 50 seconds. We'll be back. All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane's here. I'm Brian Craig. Our number is 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. A couple other things, too, that if you're on hold, hang in there. There's a couple other things I wanted to mention. By the way, I was right. Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart. I'm surprised you never heard her. You'll hear her today, Steve. They're gonna play. She's so big, they're going to play that music all over TV. I wanted the Democrats are in such a sad state of affairs, and things in Iran are heating up big time again, right? And they're giving Trump such a hard time. President Trump, I want you to think about it. Most of I guess this war's been happening. The war started in 1979, but the combat operation's been going on about 4 months. Most of that time has been during a period of ceasefire, right? There's been just maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks total of actual, if that, of actual combat. I can't even call it fighting because they can't even fight back. And what President Trump is doing in Iran is amazing. He is waging a major combat operation where he's really brought Iran down to a very low level. I know the media don't want to explain this to you, but he has, without any boots on the ground, with minimal loss of life, right? And the Iranians got off a couple of lucky shots in the beginning when they were firing, when they still had a bunch of rockets and they were firing them randomly, and they hit one building on a base in one of the Arab countries. I can't remember which one, and took out some of our personnel. But Iran, if you think about it, they haven't fought back against us at all. They haven't been able to. And Iran, who's the backer of almost all of the Islamic terrorism around the world, since this operation began, there hasn't really been any Islamic terrorism around the world, which shows that the Iranians don't have the juice anymore to even pull off a terror attack like they were doing regularly at will before. I mean, he has degraded their ability to fight back. And if they could, believe me, they would be using their networks that they used to have and launching terror attacks all over the world so that Trump would get blamed for it. And they haven't been able to. And I think this is probably, this operation with Iran is probably the most brilliant military campaign the United States has ever waged, because we've had so many great accomplishments in a war without a ground force and without much loss of life. I mean, if I don't know, when they tell him, well, it's still going on, what do they want him to do? Do they want him to invade Iran? I don't understand what the press are calling for.
It's chaos over there. It's chaos. There's nobody in charge.
Yeah.
And that's one of the...
That's good.
That plays right into their favorite game, which is keep things confused and,
Well, Trump said yesterday the main guys are the third tier, that the first two are dead. This is the third level. And in that press conference, it was a really funny moment. Marco was cracking up. One of the reporters said, well, President Trump, you said that these were honorable people and great, but what's changed? And he said, I got to know them, But he said they're the third tier guys. Anything the Iranians have done since the first day or two, they haven't killed any Americans since the beginning, right? They got lucky with one shoot down. We rescued them. They weren't killed. They've not been able to. When Trump says that they've been wiped out, it's true. There's been no Islamic terror around the world, and they haven't hit any of our ships. They haven't killed any more of our people since those first couple of days. I mean, I've never seen such a clear case of us winning a war than this. But if you follow it in the media, it's like we lost. And I know the media hate Trump, so everything's a loss to them. But no, and so if the gas prices go up a little, so what? $10 to $20 more a month at the pump if they go up to the highest level, maybe if you drive a lot. This to me seems like a war that was won on day one, and the media have framed it as if we've lost and they're fighting back, but the only thing they fire on when they do are unarmed civilian vessels, right? They fire.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, yeah. If they were hitting American in the past, when we've been in wars before, and there's been pressure. Okay, this has been going on too long. We got to get out. It's because we've been losing people. Iraq. Remember the surge in Iraq and all that. Vietnam. All these other wars. Very little loss of life. No boots on the ground. The enemy hasn't been able to fight back. So to me, it's total victory we have. All right, we'll take another call or two. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, gentlemen. This is Brian Colonizer from Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. What's on your mind?
All right. Good morning, sirs. Mr. Brian, I looked up that comment you made about the Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's apparently a Indiana Jones movie. Were you trying to be sarcastic, or have you heard of
you mentioned the Ark of the Covenant, and I said I've seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is it was about the Ark of the Covenant. It was a movie about
the jokes.
Oh my goodness. You're from Ethiopia. Don't they have humor in Ethiopia? No plumbing, no electricity, no toilets, no indoor plumbing, and no humor.
Wow, that's very disparaging. Another thing.
Well, apparently you don't care. Excuse me. Apparently you don't care for Ethiopia either, because you're calling from Fort Lauderdale, not Ethiopia.
I visited Ethiopia, and I told you
For how
I
long?
may move there.
How long?
If another MAGA.
How long did you
for
visit?
Good. If I was visiting my maternal grandmother who was dying.
Okay.
And
you got out of
about
there.
3 weeks or so.
3 weeks, and you got the heck out of Ethiopia. That's good.
Well, if J.D. Vance wins, which he's going to be the Republican nominee against Gavin Newsom, Gavin Newsom is going to be the next president, I believe.
Gavin Newsom
But if
from
J.D.
California?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah,
high?
it's gonna be Gavin Newsom for J.D.
He's smoking that. He's smoking that Ethiopian weed. What makes you think that the American people are going to elect the former mayor of San Francisco, who's run California into the toilet? Explain to me, walk us through this path that Gavin Newsom becomes the president.
Well, I believe it's J.D. Vance against Newsom in 2028.
And
if J.D.
Newsom's
Vance
going to win.
pulls out and wins.
Tell me, Gavin.
Well,
Excuse me, Gavin Newsom was mayor of San Francisco, and he's been the governor of California for a number of years.
Well, that's his problem. His only problem is he's got a record, and a long, detailed record, and it sucks.
Oh no, I'm sure that our caller has an example of a great accomplishment of Gavin Newsom's in California.
And when you say you're sure that a caller has it, that means you don't, right?
The caller, he said Gavin Newsom's going to be the president. He's going to be the next president. So he must have some example of some great accomplishment of Gavin Newsom's. What do you think, Carl? Can you tell me a little bit?
Didn't you just hear he doesn't have an example because there's nothing Gavin Newsom's done in a positive vein that was any good.
Increased homelessness.
That's why he's got no record.
He ran the movie business out of Hollywood. They don't make movies or TV shows out there anymore.
Presided over the destruction of the most beautiful state we used to have.
Yeah. Malibu burned down.
It's a burnt-out shell.
Malibu burned down.
Yeah.
What other accomplishments?
Okay.
That's what you want
to... Since you guys said that, well, Brian said that Ethiopian history is useless, I would like to invite you guys to and treat you guys to an Ethiopian restaurant on me, and I hope you take my offer.
You think I'm going to eat? You think I'm going to eat food that comes from you? Are you crazy?
What does Ethiopian food look like? Can you describe what's a good Ethiopian dish?
An Ethiopian dish. Porridge?
Chicken? No. If you're familiar with Indian food, it's like spicy curry sauces eaten with a flat bread. And then you guys can have some
that sounds like Jamaican food. I think that sounds like Jamaican food.
Already.
Yeah, I'm not going to eat any food that this guy's near. No way. You hate us too much.
We appreciate your offered hospitality.
Yeah, all right, take care. Thanks for your call. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my goodness, Steve. I feel bad for that guy.
Why?
Because he called, but what's happened with him is he's going around with this way of thinking, and he called me last week, and I woke him out of his delusions, and it's just been, he's not felt well ever since, and I feel bad. I wish he could go, I almost want him to go back into his delusions. He called in, and he was calling us colonizers, right? And I was pointing out to him that he's not in Ethiopia, he's in Fort Lauderdale. That makes him a colonizer because he's here. And ever since then, it's just been downhill. And he's been obsessing a little bit too much about things he shouldn't be obsessing on. And he's blind. He's visually impaired. I feel bad for the guy. I don't want the guy to be, he's got enough to worry about without worrying about what I say to him. You know what I mean? It's not often I feel bad, because you guys call us. Right. So, and you know what Steve and I are all about. So I don't feel bad for the callers too often, but him, I feel a little bit bad. I mean, he's doing research on our conversations and everything else. He shouldn't do that. Just forget about it and, don't reference it in your next call. But I do want to, I just checked my text messages and I have not gotten the I've not gotten the message yet, so it's still in effect. This 250th anniversary special, the Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Guys, this is for a very limited time. It's the 250th anniversary of America special, the Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And it will end without notice. They're offering $400 off. Okay, $400 off. And that's pretty awesome. And Coastal Weight Loss Secret, you've seen the work and great accomplishments they've done with me. Without exercise, without starving myself, eating foods I would normally eat, and I want to stress, without any pills, any shots, none of that stuff. All natural. Not only did I lose the weight, I lost 25 pounds in the first 3 weeks. I've kept the weight off, and I haven't gained back a single ounce. Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help you lose weight no matter where you're located in the United States or the world. And right now, for America's 250th birthday, they're offering $400 off. Give them a call right now, 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. All right, we'll be back with the Gold Report after this. All right, Steve, I want to put you on hold while I get William and stuff. Hold on. Okay. Oh, man. All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman over at the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today?
Metals looking nicely up, regaining all of yesterday's losses and then some. The gold yesterday we saw close down $30.10 at $4,074.70 the ounce, after trading in a range of $4,021 on the low all the way up to $4,135. And as I said, closing down $30.10. Silver was down $1.71 yesterday, closing at $58.13. Platinum was down $57, closing at $1,579. And palladium was down $48 at $1,199. The markets overnight trading in a range of 4,053 all the way up to 4,121. Right now we're at $4,112 on gold, which is up $37.30. Continuing to see this back and forth action above 4,000 and resistance at 4,200 on gold. Silver is up $1.21 right now at $59.35. Platinum is up $33 at $1,612. and palladium is up $35 at $12.34. So the summer doldrums are still here, and the markets are continuing to trade mostly sideways.
Yeah, and silver sounds like a great deal right now.
Yeah, anything under $60 seems like a good value for silver, and oil is back up around $74 a barrel. So the markets are still giving us a buying opportunity here.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. Give him a call. Toll free, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, or stop by his store in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway, on the south side of Palmetto, on the first floor of the Bank of America building. All right, and you can find his phone number and address online at williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll finish out the week tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day. Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, and let's take some more calls, Steve. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Dylan, and I'm from Missouri.
All right.
The show me state.
So, yeah, exactly. What I don't understand is why everybody is such a communist nowadays. And that's all I got to say.
Well, I'll let me.
later.
Okay. All right. There's a bright caller. Well, he did ask a good question, though. I don't think everybody is a communist. I don't think there's that many of them, Steve. I think they have some vocal people that have won some primaries and for grab areas. Well, I don't know. You know, I don't think there's that many of them. What do you?
And they've got a good public relations officer at this point.
Exactly.
So they get away with it a lot.
Yeah.
But I think this is a turning point for them. I think this whole thing with whatever it is, what's his name?
Graham Plattner.
Flatner?
Yeah. Yeah, the main...
I think this whole thing with Flatner, I think is the beginning of the unraveling of the socialist wing, because it's given people across the country, Democrats across the country, the courage to stand up against some of what was going on. Like we talked about Schumer marching in the gay parade, shouting out for everyone to hear his daughter was gay and all that. I mean, it's been a humiliating experience for these Democrats, and I think this happening in Maine, I think, may be a turnaround moment.
If communism was so popular, they wouldn't be calling themselves democratic socialist. They'd say they're communist, right? So
communist is still a dirty word.
Yeah. So so it's they're trying to convince you they're not too much, And what I'm interested in, now that Plattner, all this has come out with Plattner. Schumer withdrew his endorsement. I think, did Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, did she? I don't know. I've been watching a lot of there's been a big divide among the Democrats. Do they welcome these socialists or not? And they've been using that old Ronald Reagan, we're a big tent, and we have different people in parts of the tent and everything else. I'm wondering if they're going to start to distance themselves from these Democrat socialists, because people have really rejected them. They do well at
I think they've already done that.
A lot of people voted for Graham Plattner. I mean, he had gotten... I looked it up this morning. Let me see if I have it here, because I was surprised how many people voted for him, knowing that he had Maine's a small state, okay, but he got 156,000 votes, which is not a lot when you consider a statewide race, but 156,000 people voted for him, knowing he had the Nazi tattoo.
A lot of commies.
Yeah, and Nazis, Nazi commies, But that's a lot of people voted for him, the thing about this country, the Democrat Socialist of America, their true leader is Obama, working behind the scenes, guys. It's not Bernie Sanders, it's not Mamdani, it is Obama, and he's working behind the scenes. And that's what he's doing. I've been watching people that have been visiting the Obama Library in Chicago, and it's not so much a normal. A presidential library typically is a museum, but it's a it's a
mess.
It's a teaching center for activists, for community activists, is what it is. And all of this Democrat socialism is mostly him. Almost all of it. Bernie Sanders is the front man, but it's not him, But they're talking now that they're gonna that Bernie Sanders is the most likely nominee of the Democrats in the next election. I hope so. I hope so. We could not get that lucky. Oh, we could not get that lucky.
No way that's gonna happen.
We could not get that lucky. No, that would be like a dream come true, wouldn't it? Oh my goodness! His wife has that
when
scandal.
You think about it, almost everybody that the Democrats are considering are disasters.
Yeah, they don't have a single thing. When I was watching President Trump in Turkey yesterday, he had a bunch of guys behind him on his staff, and there were like 3 presidents behind him. Marco Rubio, everybody was there but JD, right? Pete Hegseth.
Yep.
Scott Bassett was up there. I mean, it was like the masters of the universe. And I've never seen a president have a press conference like that and then have behind him his staff like that. I've never seen him. Well, most of them are such narcissistic lunatics. They don't want to share the stage, But he had Marco there. He had JD. Steve Miller was up there. Bassett. There was a couple other guys. Whitaker. And I forget who else was up there, but we have a field of competent people. There is not a single Democrat anywhere in the country who's viewed as a credible person anymore. None. And they've done themselves in through with the defund the police.
I was going to say, they did it to themselves.
The gender thing, with the guys and the girls' sports. I mean, they've taken these extreme positions all over the place, and they've just destroyed themselves. Now, I want to tell you guys, recently, a good friend of Steve's and mine went in for bypass surgery. They had they went in for their heart scan, and they had blockage in every one of their arteries. It was just a matter of how much in each one. Some had more than others. And what blows my mind when people tell me this, it's really scary when you think about it. People have major blockage, and they go to the gym 3 times a week, and they have no symptoms. From time to time, you hear about people dying at the gym. You know why? Because the body adjusts to the blockage, so you don't have any symptoms until you drop dead. And that's where life imaging comes in. Life imaging is all about preventative, finding out about these problems before you have that widow-maker heart attack. Life imaging, they have locations in Broward, Palm Beach, Dade, and Orlando. Life imaging is offering a free heart scan valued at $699 with a few minimum requirements. Okay? While you're over there, make sure you ask about their full-body cancer screening. Okay? I've had that too. It's amazing, and there have been people in this audience that have found out they've had tumors and cancers from that. Okay? And give them a call. From your cell phone, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan and you'll be connected in seconds. Now, shockingly, today's Thursday already. I can't believe it. Tomorrow's Friday. Friday's show is open phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Friday's show, except for the blind man in Fort Lauderdale, because I'm getting really tired of that guy. I mean, I'm feeling so bad for him. But it is open phones tomorrow. Open MAGA Mike Friday. The show prep is up to you and the listening audience. And on tomorrow's show, you can call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday's show. And that's every Friday, okay? The other 4 days, even though it's like herding cats, you have to talk about what Steve and I are talking about. But tomorrow is open phones. You can call in about any and everything on your mind tomorrow, guys, okay? Don't forget that. And sometimes that's the best show of the week, and other times it's the most embarrassing show of the week. But either way, it's always interesting. That's tomorrow. A couple things, though, that I want to end with. What do you think Trump's going to do in Iran, Steve? Is he just going to bomb them from time to time? I mean, with this regime in power, they're always going to be poking the bear. So what's he going to do?
It looks like he's serious about taking them out. I think he'll continue the bombing, and he's going to deal with it from this here on. I mean, it's an educated guess, but my guess is that he's going to stick with the military.
But I don't know what they're targeting anymore. We've been bombing so much. I mean, are they? In the beginning, the target was clear. We bombed the government leaders first, right? We took out the Ayatollah and all those people. Are they? Do you think they're targeting the government officials that are running the country now?
I'm sure they're targeting everything in sight.
Those guys got to go. They just got to take them out. I can't believe we don't know where they are. And, we had a call at the end of yesterday's show that said we need to take out the power plants and everything. Yeah.
That's what they're talking about.
Take out the power plants, the water treatment plants, take out everything. Every power plant in the country. And I know it's a mess. Trump says we'll have to go in and rebuild them if we take out the power plants. I don't know about that, but enough. I mean, I've been hearing about Iran every day since I was 8 years old, right? I mean, it's just enough. It's our longest war. It's got to end, and target the utilities and everything. Just take out everything. Leave them with nothing. Put them back in the Stone Age, and then we won't have. I would start though by targeting any boat or marina on the coast, so they don't have any more of these speedboats to come out. I'm surprised they still have anything down there. Well, listen, we are all out of time. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Steve Kane has been here. My name is Brian Craig. We'll see you first thing tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. All right, guys. Hey, listen, before you go, please like the video. Okay, guys, when you like the video, you get the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So please do me the favor of liking the video, all right? My name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you later. Take care.